the basic understanding that I need you to have with what's happened is that society has gone feral, okay? F-E-R-A-L, I believe is the correct spelling. Did I get the spelling? Okay, feral. Say the word feral. Say society has gone feral. So here's what I mean by feral, okay? So if you take a pig, and the pig is like all cute and pink, okay? And the pig's like on the farm, okay? And then you release that pig in the wild, in very short order, it will be covered in fur, it will grow a bigger snout, it will grow tusks, and it will go on the fucking rampage. It will go on a feral fucking rampage, okay? That's what the pig does. Why? Because the barn is gone, the domestication is gone, and the pig is just like, everyone's out for themselves. And it just runs out there killing everything and fucking, and it's 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 just gone fucking crazy, right? Because the farm's gone. That is where society is currently at. And I'm not just talking with sex. It's also gone that way in terms of how people treat each other. People super fuck each other over now, right? If you lived in a regular town back in the day and there was consequences for you fucking over your neighbor or shit talking your neighbor or trolling your neighbor, there was real consequence to that, so you couldn't just act like that. Now, look at how people talk to each other on the internet. People insulting each other, threatening each other. We have a fucking real culture war that we're in the middle of. People canceling each other, talking crazy shit, fucking each other over. Man, I couldn't believe it. Like when I came to the States, just seeing the degree to which people have no ethics whatsoever, super rationalize it, super fuck each other over, it's fucking insane. A lot of people have fucked me over publicly, and I don't even respond. They talk shit, and I don't even answer. And then people will say, oh, because Owen didn't answer, does that mean that he's guilty? I'm like, no, I'm not feeding it. I'm from Canada. In Canada, if you have a problem with someone, you go see them in person, and you shake their hand, and you tell them what's up. You tell them what your problem is. You don't insult them on the internet, okay? Like, what grown man is like, I'm making a video to let you know on the internet what my opinion is? Like, you're a man, and that's what you do? Or like airs their dirty laundry in the public? That is so, I just can't even remotely understand how people go down that path or how they even, like in my mind, I'm like, this is what I want to ask people to do this. I want to be like, you ever watch those movies where there's like a good guy and a bad guy? And like the good guy is somebody who plays fair and the bad guy screws over their friends and is a shit talker? Like, do you not self-identify as the bad guy that you were rooting against? Do you not see that characteristic in you? You're not seeing that, but for whatever reason, the human brain rationalizes everything. So they go, no, it's fine that I do this. It's okay. So people have gone feral, we have a culture war, people fuck each other over, people say nasty shit about each other, including on the internet, especially on the internet, and the cheating is just rampant. Cheating is rampant, crazy amounts of sex outside relationships, like insane amounts. So that's what's happened. Society's just gone completely feral, okay? So that is the first thing to understand. Society's gone feral. So let me show you what a relationship would have looked like back in the day, and then let me show you what it tends to look like now. Neither of these is 100%, okay? But I'm just gonna show you the gist of it, okay? So you have to understand the major thing when you're interacting with women is that women are very socially aware and they have extremely high emotional intelligence and social intelligence relative to a man. Then you have to understand that women have existed under patriarchy for almost all of human history, where if they could not adapt and if they were not agreeable, they could have horrible things happen. Killed, assaulted, sent out in the wild, whatever, right? So if you look at different studies, for example, this is with chimpanzees and this is with humans. If a pack of chimps come in and the male chimps kill the males in another tribe, what do the females wind up doing once they killed their husbands, we'll call it? Mating with the new males. They go mate with the new male, right? Why? Now, you can be mad about that, but our DNA is closely linked to that. Most of your ancestors are women. Why would your female ancestors, if you're a guy, why would that happen? And women will do it as well. What would happen if you if let's say that a woman lived back in the day of the Vikings, right? And there was one woman that was like, you killed my husband, fuck you, I'm not mating with you. What would happen to her? Dead. She's dead, okay? Then what would happen is that she wouldn't reproduce. And as a result of that, evolution favors women that are socially intelligent, socially aware, and get it like, this is where the power is, so I will adapt and evolve around that psychology. Okay, there's an understanding of that there, okay? So I just wanted to jump in the video to let you know that I'm actually out here today on the beach, practicing what I preach, doing all the things that I tell you to do in these videos. I don't just do seminar videos where I tell you that you should work on your social skills. I go out and I meet and talk to people all the time. Now, as I'm out here doing this, here's what's funny. I've got students that are out here with me watching exactly what it is that I do, and they're kind of blown away by it. But then what I'm doing that I think is blowing them away even more is I'm showing them exactly how to do it so they can get the exact same result. Now imagine for everybody that's out here, for the rest of their lives, if they want to make a business connection, they want to network, they want to make friends, they want to work on making a genuine connection with someone very, very special, they know exactly what to do forever and ever because we came out here and did this work. Well, here's the thing. This work is not for everybody. You've got to be a very, very special kind of person to have what it takes to come out here and do this. You've got to be an action taker. You've got to be somebody who understands the value of knowing how to meet people anytime, anywhere, and realizing that your net worth is your network, okay? When you know everybody, what winds up happening? You make more cash, you're happier, and you wind up raising the vibe for everybody. It's an incredible skill. Well, what I've done is a lot of people have asked me about these trainings, and so I created a brand new website. It's actually brand new, with a very, very deep video that's really shocking. It's a shocking video. It's kind of an intense video where I go very, very deep on what it is that this looks like. Like imagine meeting up with me personally and going out and doing this. It's a shocking, crazy experience. And on the website in the video, I show exactly what it is that you can expect. It's really crazy. So if you want to see this, click the link below. And if you think that you're somebody that has what it takes, because this is not for everybody, and you've got to actually add value to the group, okay? In a situation like this, you can't be a leech. You've got to be someone who's bringing energy and is serious about results. If you think that that's you, fill out the form right on the website, and what I'll do is come and meet up with you in person, and we're going to learn this together. But again, that's only if you're the right fit. If you think that that's you, you click the link below, and we'll be sitting out here together doing this and change your life. Anyway, click the link, and back to the video. Now let me try to show you something. I'm going to try to break something down, okay? Have you ever heard of the Milgram experiment? You ever heard of that? Yeah. Okay, so the Milgram experiment is basically, and I'll keep it short because I'm talking about in other videos. The Milgram experiment is where they wanted to know why after World War II all these atrocities had happened. So in America, they did an experiment where they bring people off the street, bring them up into an office, and a guy in a lab coat would say, turn up the electricity, keep turning it up, and I'll tell you how high to turn it. And then the electricity would be electrocuting somebody inside, right? So in the video, you'll see the guy going, please stop, it hurts, it hurts. And then he'll even fake being unconscious. It's an actor. But if a guy in a white lab coat tells the dude to do it, he'll just keep turning it up till he basically commits murder. Okay, and this is a huge percentage of people. I think all of them would go pretty high, and then some of them wouldn't go any higher, okay? So also men are also very easily social pressured into taking on different kind of beliefs and so on and so forth, okay? Now, if you want to understand even a little bit more, they have another experiment. So they'll put you in a doctor's office, and there'll be 9 different guys in there, and you're the 10th guy. And they'll come out with a piece of paper that's red. And then what'll happen is, I should have done this here, but basically imagine if, I pull up a piece of paper right now, I say, what color is this? And I've got them, they're all actors, and they go yellow, 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 but the paper's actually red. And then I go to you. The question is, would you have the balls to say that the paper's red? And what they find is the vast majority of guys will also say it's yellow, even when it is obviously red. We saw this during the COVID lockdown. We saw it then. It was very obvious at that point when there's like Chinese propaganda videos with guys in hazmat suits like spraying down the neighborhood, people like dying on the street from COVID, like they're just walking along like it's like Resident Evil, and just, they die. It's like obviously fake actors, guys in hazmat suits and shit. Population just took it. So you see how that kind of thing happens, okay? It's also why wars can happen, et cetera, et cetera. So that is basically kind of what you're dealing with, right? So back in the day, you had certain social conventions, social cultures, certain taboos, and so on and so forth. So let's think a little bit about how, let's say that you got married back in the day. What was some of the culture back in the day that would have held your relationship together? What are some things that would have held it together? Where do you make your promise? Who do you make your promise in front of? God. 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 Okay? What happens if you break your promise potentially? Where do you go? Hell. Okay? Who else do you make your promise in front of?
Family. Community.
How are you judged if you have sex with a lot of people? Ostracized, low value, et cetera, right? So those are things that happened back in the day. Do I think that that was right or wrong? Guys, I honestly think everything has pros and cons to it. I think there's a lot of pros and cons. But I'll tell you this, I wouldn't really want to be a woman in that. So a lot of people will say, oh, it's, it sucks that we can't go back to the past. In my view, there's a lot of different things that define the quote-unquote patriarchy. And I know when I use the word patriarchy, it annoys you guys. But guys, there was a patriarchy, okay? The reason that I'm saying the word patriarchy to you is so that you can understand that you're no longer in it, okay? You're in the opposite. Is that called a matriarchy, gynocentric? That is the society that you're currently mostly in. It's still a mix. Some parts of the patriarchy are still there. Some parts are still intact, but a lot of it is shifting the other side. We know this from the college rates, home ownership, jobs, but then again, there's less female congressmen, congresswomen, less female billionaires. So it's kind of a mix, okay? There's pros and cons, but it's more of a mix. And so here's what I explain to you. In my view, the defining component of the patriarchy that was the most widespread was that women were pressured to mate with men that they were not attracted to. In my view, that's what it largely was. There's also a lot of other horrible components, Salem, witch burning, and all this crazy shit. There's a lot of really bad stuff. But I think the most widespread one is women that were basically pressured to have sex with men and give kids to men that they did never in a million years would have been the guy that they wanted. They never, ever, ever would have done it. So back in the day, I hate rating systems, but I'm just going to make it simple. A 4 would probably be the 4, a 5 would be the 5, a 6 would be the 6, and everybody paired off. I'm going to explain the good things, then I'm going to try to explain the bad things. What were some good things about that system?
Everybody got a partner.
Everybody got a partner. So what was good about that?
Support population.
Very stable. What else? Kept population growing. What else? Come on. If you can't even figure this out, I don't know how you're going to do all the stuff I'm going to teach you. So I'm going to teach you a lot harder stuff than this. Man, I can't hear you, bro. I can't hear you, bro.
Men wouldn't revolt against
Your voice is just, you're getting killed off your voice. But yeah, so guys less likely to get all crazy. Yeah, guys that are not mating, it's not the best. And we'll probably see that in the future. It's not a good direction we're going. Now, okay, even though I hate that. So then from there, let me tell you a couple other things. Let's say you had to go to war. How many of you in this room would go die right now for your country? Who would do it? Not a single person in this room would go die for their country. Was that what it was like during World War II? How come guys were lining up to go die for their country in World War II? They knew they were going to die.
Because it wasn't real.
Because they had a kid.
It wasn't imaginary.
They had a kid. They had a wife. You're not going to come here and kill my kid. You're not going to come here and kill my wife. Fuck you. Not going to happen. So they had a stake in the country. Right now, what you have is this mass of young men that have no stake in the country at all. And there's an acronym for it where they're opting out. It's called like no education, no skills or something. What's the name of that? It's like NEAT or something? Yeah. What's the acronym? Can you look it up?
It's NEAT.
NEAT.
It's non-employed or educated. Or
loud.
Not employed or in education or in training.
And what's the percentage of men doing that?
I don't know.
Look it up. Look up NEAT, what percent? NEET, what percent? Could you guys look that up for me? Okay, in some countries, I believe it's high as 30%. It's around a third of men that have literally just said, fuck it. I'm gonna whack off, I'm gonna smoke weed, I'm gonna play video games, I'm gonna watch porn. That's where they're at. Maybe do a little molly on the weekend.
20% in 2023.
20% of men in 2023, and it's rising, are literally full on opting out. Oh my God. Just give up, baby. Just give up. But here's the thing. They're not needed. The truth is they're not needed. Protect and provide, they don't need to be provided for, and they don't need protection. They got the cops for that. Most of society's already built. Right? Guys do a lot of really hard jobs, but those guys, they'll keep doing it. They'll just keep doing it. We see the rise of OnlyFans. If you're a woman, do you want to go marry some beta male who's a 7 and he makes $60K a year? Or would you rather get paid $1 million a year while a legion of simps pay for your OnlyFans? Legions of simps. Okay? Guys, I'll be real with you. I've dated girls at OnlyFans before, and I'll literally find out that some of my chumpish simp friends literally just want to see what my girlfriend looks like naked. and are following them on Instagram. Sid's laughing right now because he knows. We know, okay? So, yeah, OnlyFans is a thing. It's basically creating, there's like OnlyFans happened because guys are just flat out opting out altogether. They see no direction, they see no point, and it's like they can go work their ass off, try to have a family, it probably won't work. What are the odds of getting a date off of Tinder or something like that? How many swipes the average guy got to do? There's height filters on it, there's filters on it, et cetera, right? Now, from a woman's perspective, remember that biologically, if you're a woman, you have a biological imperative to mate with an alpha male. But there's also another biological imperative that comes even higher than mating with an alpha male. What is that biological imperative that women have that shows mating? It shows generational success if they accomplish this goal. And it's even higher priority than mating with an alpha male. What would it be?
Not mating with a beta male.
Yeah, say it louder.
Not mating with a beta male.
Say it louder.
Not mating with a beta
Yeah, if a girl just simply doesn't reproduce, simply does not reproduce the beta male, she still accomplished her goal, okay? Because it's not as good as she had reproduced with an alpha, but she still improved the collective gene pool of humanity by not mating with a beta. So they don't care, guys, okay? They don't care, okay? If you right now are making 50 grand a year and you get to 80, they don't care. If you're making 100 and get to 200, that's not enough. They don't care, okay? Let me ask you some questions if you're a woman, okay? You're a woman right now, okay? Let's say that you're making $80,000 a year, okay? And some guy making 80K says, I'm gonna protect and provide for you. You don't find that guy to be that attractive, okay? How much money would that guy have to make for you to stop being with the person that you're actually attracted to, give up your job, which you have control over, and then risk latching onto him? Risk latching onto him if you're a woman. Like, because when you have a job, you have some control over that, right? Or a business, you have control over that. You get a man, you do not have direct control over your money or income. He could screw you over any time. Marriage was meant to have divorce laws to protect against that, but you see the point, right? He could screw you at any point. And then it's the guy who you don't even want, okay? So let's say as a man, you're thinking of a girl, right? Let's say you're making 80K a year right now. How much money would a girl who you find to be like a 6 to your taste, you're already having sex with a 10, now you're gonna have sex with a 6, because remember, they're all having sex with their 10, most of them. Why are they having sex with their 10, most of them? That's important. Why is it? Come on, guys. Why are most of them having sex with their 10? Why? Come on, this is why none of you guys have success. This is literally why none of you guys have success.
They're not being judged.
What is the reason why most of them are already having sex with their perfect 10?
Because they're married. Imperatives. They're biological imperatives.
They're sharing him. Say the word sharing.
Sharing.
They're sharing him. One of them can handle 100. They're sharing him. Okay? And they don't mind. They'd rather he's just with them. And if you tell them directly you're sharing, they'll dump the guy. They'll be like, wait, I'm what? Oh, I'm out of here. But meanwhile, have you guys ever heard the word situationship?
Yeah.
Do you notice all these beautiful, beautiful women that are complaining that the guy from their situationship won't commit? Why won't a beautiful girl like that can't get commitment? Can't get commitment? Just couldn't get commitment? Couldn't get commitment? Couldn't get a commitment? Okay? Like she's basically saying, I give you unlimited access to sleep with me. And the guy's saying no. Why? Why would that man say no? He's got a roster. He's got a monster fucking roster. If you had an unlimited roster, and then some girl's like, I want to be exclusive, what do you say? Unlimited. And remember that roster's not all that you have, because that roster's just what you've already secured. You also have all the new opportunities you walk down the street. How long would it take? Would you agree to that? No. So what would you give a relationship? No. What would you give?
Situationship.
Say it loud.
Situationship.
Say it loud and proud.
Situationship.
Louder.
Situationship.
What is the main form of relationship in 2025?
Situationship.
It's a situationship, right? So that's what it is. Okay? So as a result of that, if you're a girl, even as a man, if you're having sex with your perfect 10, and you're making 80K a year, you kind of enjoy your job, and then some other girl came and said, no, I also make 80K a year, I'll take care of you, baby. but that girl was like a 6 to you, and you're already having sex with your version of a 10, what would it take for you to leave that?
Way more than 80K.
Yeah.
A lot more than, what would it take?
$1 million at least.
At least, right? But even then, you wouldn't be building your job year by year. So then if the girl got rid of you, you'd have this big gap in your resume. You'd have this giant gap in your resume. So it's kind of scary, right? So even at $1 million is kind of scary. Yeah. Because you'd have a gap in your resume. You're not going to work. You're completely trusting her. And women know this, guys. Right? You're aware of this, right? Yeah. You want to have a giant gap in your resume? I got 80K a year for you. You know, right? After taxes, that's like 60. And then depending on your state. And then from there, that's a cool 5K a month. How far is that going to get you in a major city? And this is not even the most expensive major city. But just leave your job. Leave your job. For me. Okay? That's what guys, so you're trying, okay. But wait, I got a raise. I'm getting 90K. After taxes, that'll be like 5,200. That's 2,600 for you, 2,600 for me. And then when you get pregnant, that's like $5 for you and $5 for me. Quit your job. Why don't you want to be traditional with me? I've worked real hard. I got 80K a year. So guys are trying to think, guys think if they get some money that a woman's going to be impressed by that. No, she's not. She's not. You're not in the third world here, boys. You're in the West. They don't care. This is the West. That's why all that passport bro stuff's happening. Because you bring 5K down there, you're the king of the world. That's why guys are doing that. You're the king of the universe. You're like, I have $5. $5 and passport. Okay? But as Eddie Murphy says in Eddie Murphy Raw, wait till he goes, he calls it like the bone bitch or whatever, like a girl with like a bone in her nose, right? Brings her here to America. What have you done for me lately, Eddie? You guys ever seen Eddie Murphy Raw? He talks about it. So be careful once I come here. So anyway, okay, so that's kind of where you're at, right? So then now the other one guys tried to take his looks, right? But again, here's what you got to understand. If you could truly get like legendarily jacked, that's a cool asset to have, right? That's amazing. What they don't tell you in most of these fitness things, look, when I was younger, the first thing that I tried to do is get jacked, okay? I was taking 200 grams of protein a day. I was pumping creatine. I was in the gym 5 days a week. I had trainers, all this stuff. And you know what, guys? I actually got in respectable shape, okay? Respectable shape. But guys, for most of us, not all of us, but for most of us, without either TRT or some kind of steroids, because see, the thing was, I had this one trainer named Everett, right? And I trained for like 2 years, tried to look like Everett. And finally, after 2 years, Everett goes, he's like, man, you know most of these guys are like the kind of shape you're trying to get in, like, you know they take D-ball, right? And I'm like, what's D-ball, Everett? He's like, it's good for you, you should do it. He's like, if you're this serious about it. I'm like, what's D-ball? He's like, Decatur-Roblin. Okay, or Winstrol V, or whatever the fuck, okay? Tread, or whatever the fuck people are doing, okay? So, look, the truth is, I'm not an expert. Maybe it's good to take Tread. I don't know, guys, okay? I do have one friend that recently started taking a lot of juice. Man, that guy's out of his I'm no longer friends with him. He's out of his fucking mind now. I love the guy, too, but he's on juice. I can't be his friend anymore. It's fucking crazy. Actually stole from me, too. The guy's gone nuts. So, the point is, like, yeah, I think what's he on? Is it Tren? What's he taking?
It's Tren.
Is it Tren?
That makes you crazy.
Yeah, he's fucking crazy. I love the guy, but I can't roll with that boy anymore. Okay, so that, yeah, he's fucking a lot though. So maybe take the Tren. But anyway, so but he was before as well. But anyway, look, so the point being is I realized over time that to get in the kind of shape where it's like you would literally have like real results out of your body, for most of us just genetically, like, you know, who in here actually, like, here's the sad truth with training that I always point out to guys, okay? There's a few of you in this room that actively train, and I was like this when I was training for many years. I trained for many years. I trained for like 15 years. You'll train and train and train, and then I could get you to stand up, and I could ask the audience, is it believable both that this guy trains, but also that he actually doesn't even train? And in most cases, it kind of looks almost the same. It doesn't look that different. Who in here trains? Like, who here like hits the gym hard? Okay, so like, here, stand up. Okay, here, come over here. Now his shirt's loose, but like, do you think that women are like lining up because of how jacked, and he's got some good muscle here, but do you think that like the level to which he is training is gonna make a huge difference in his dating life?
No.
Sorry, man. It's because, have a seat. Because he's like the Lexus of training, right? It's not a Bugatti, it's not a Lamborghini. It's like it's kind of like getting like maybe I don't know, like a Tag Heuer watch, right? It's not a Rolex, it's not an AP, it's not a Patek, it's not a Richard Mille. It's like, you know, you train and train and train, and you got a nice Tag Heuer. You know, you got like maybe at best an Omega or like a Lexus. But like to get up to the level of like AP, Patek in your body, if you could do it, do it. But most guys are not gonna get there. Now, by the way, make money, do fitness, do it for you, do it for your own enjoyment. But don't be shocked that when you train for 7 years, you got in like respectable shape, and you make maybe a cool 100K a year, that they're not lining up to have your babies. Okay? That's not likely to be something that works. Don't be surprised that when you do old school courtship, they're not lining up to have your babies. So what I'm largely seeing, here's what I'm seeing. Largely what I'm seeing is guys who want to have families come to me and they say, oh, I want to have a family. They try to do that directly, it doesn't work. Then they hit the gym, and I think it's great what they do. I will spend all my older years in the gym to be mobile. I think it's awesome, but they think it's gonna drive attraction. And then they try to make money, but you guys have got to understand, even at my level of money, I know this might surprise you, even at my level of money, and I'm wearing like $250,000 of fucking jewelry right now, okay? Even at my level of money, it's not enough to attract in most cases. It's really not. Because the problem is they've just been invited to better shit, guys, okay? They've just, like, the girls that I invite up to and I grew up having a lot of success socially and in dating my whole life. Later in life, I would get fat cribs. Honestly, I can tell you, I've had success the whole way through. I have success when I'm on the road and I don't have a fat crib. I enjoy having a fat crib. Every single woman that I've ever invited for a party has been to houses 20 times better than my crib. And most of you in here will not get to the level of my crib. So, if you listen to me, you would. But I can't even get you to understand the other questions what was that question I was asking you before, the sharing thing or whatever, right? I can't even get you there, right? So if you can't even remember the sharing thing or whatever it was that I said, you're probably not getting to the highest levels as it is, because there's larger problems there. So as a result of that, not that you couldn't get there, but you just probably don't try hard enough or care enough. So basically what you're seeing is that guys are taking the wrong approach. They're honestly going about it the wrong way. Now, then what guys do is they get pissed off, and then they say, fuck it, and then they go under the NEAT category, okay? So what is that, no education? What is that again, no education? Come on.
No education, employment, or training.
No education, employment, or training. So they give up, right? And they're pissed. They're pissed off because the patriarchy ended, okay? So they either opt out or they try to optimize for the wrong things. Now, the fucked up part, and this is why I decided to make some of these videos, because I don't want to make these videos, but I decided to make them, is that what is most of the advice telling you of how to deal with this dynamic? I hate to tell you, but most of the teachers, what are they saying these days?
Get jacked, make more money.
Get jacked and make more money is what they're saying. So the thing is this, okay? It's not working. It's good that they're doing it, but it's not working. By the way, what are some of the reasons why teachers will tell that to you? Because there's specific reasons why they'll give that advice. There's reasons why that advice is common.
Go. Self-confidence courses.
More testosterone in your system.
Because none of them have approach skills. They can't demonstrate it. Any of those teachers that you see saying that, if you bring them out to a bar, cannot go up to somebody. They don't know how. Okay? They don't know how. If you look at me and you look at my lifestyle as somebody who understands social skills, I wake up on average at the earliest would be 11 a.m. and and on average would be 2 or 3 p.m. every day. I have garbage bags, giant garbage bags on my windows from Home Depot that are taped up and a blackout curtain and all the alarms and stuff unplugged in my room, and I sleep in the pitch black. I'm awake until 2 a.m. every day. That's been my entire adult life. Might kill me, by the way, could give you cancer. Why is it that I chose to live that life 7 days a week my whole adult life? Why is that?
Become the best.
Because I wanted to teach something that was based on personal experience. I didn't want to just, if I'm going to run a freaking social media channel, or if I'm going to be, putting myself out there and holding myself out as a teacher, I damn well want to be living the life that I'm teaching. So as a result of that, I'm always up late. I'm always like a little bit tired and cranky looking. Like I've been awake late my whole adult life. That's also why I'm not going to teach this forever, because I want to go to bed. Like that's true. Like I'm stopping so I can go to bed. I've been awake for 23 years for you fuckers, okay? And I'm tired of it. I want to wake up early, okay? I want to go to bed. So I've been awake super late, after parties, adventures, super late. I'm in bed on average about 6 a.m. I hate it, but I did it because I was committed to the craft. So as a result of that, you think these other teachers that are going, go to the gym and get money, you think they're awake till 6 a.m.? You think they figured out where every single bar and club of their neighborhood is, where all the different social gatherings are? They've done approaches and social skills and split testing, and like, you think they're living that life for their YouTube channel? Let me tell you the truth. 99% of teachers in the space, guys, I've done over 100 million sales. I've never shit-talked anyone ever. I've never spoken bad about someone. I am such a nice guy. Every other teacher, I go in town, I'm like, hey man, I'm here, I'd love to meet you. These guys won't go fucking near me, okay? They're shit scared. They'll even respond to me when I'm in a different city, like a lot, because they want business advice. As soon as I go to their city, they head for the fucking hills. Why do you guys think they head for the hills? Because they know that I'm gonna say, let's go out. The couple that I've met, their hands will start shaking. Like they see me and they start shaking, they get very uncomfortable. Because they know that I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna be, because they've seen my infield. So they're like, oh shit, he's gonna do this thing, I don't know how to do it. So the reason why most of the advice that you're seeing is looks and money is because they're able to do that. And then most of them, what happened was, here's the main key of the whole thing, so pay very close attention. They got famous from teaching guys. As a result of that, they have a large following. Now, they're jacked, they have money, and they have a large following, and then they just DM girls as a guy who's jacked has a large following. So that is the way that they've gotten success. Or for many of them, maybe they have a podcast, and then they invite guests on the podcast, and then that becomes their pipeline. Okay? They're speaking from experience, but it's not something that you're gonna do. Like, unless you're gonna go do that too, that's not helping you. Online is not gonna help you because most of you in this room, like, you're in good shape. You go on Tinder or whatever those sites are, you're not gonna have any results. Have you ever tried?
I have it, it doesn't work.
Speak up.
I have it, it doesn't work.
Say that again. That's why I told you to come out with us tonight so you can see this up close. Okay, say it again.
I have and it doesn't work.
I can't believe it. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you why not. I'm gonna ask you a vulgar question to which I already know the answer, but I'm gonna get you thinking. Okay, would you have sex with him?
I would talk to him on an app.
Okay, would you potentially have sex with him? Because if you wouldn't, almost nobody would. And that's what women never understand. They're like, well, someone's gonna like him.
Right.
Is it you? Is it you? No. So that's the point. Women never get that. They're like, somebody will like him. Nobody will like him. And then I try to help a guy like this, and then girls are gonna be like, just leave him like he is. He's great. He's so sweet. He's a sweetheart. Look at, he did his little gym. Oh, it's cute. Okay, no one's fucking this man. Ah! Okay, sorry, I'm done. Okay, I'm done. Okay? Prove me wrong. Okay? So the thing is, and by the way, I understand the fact you have to get to know somebody. I get that, and you're also not going to publicly say that. So I understand all those dynamics, but it's still. So I'm joking, and I'm kind of setting up the answer, but there's a point that I'm making in there, and that's what people don't get. All right. So all these little cute little guys. Like, just leave him like that. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like you had a wolf, And then with like selective breeding over thousands of years, you've turned it into this like gyrating pug, and it's like, it's like this big. My buddy Marcel just bought this Korean dog. It's literally this big, and it's a puffball. You know that guy's dating life's about to explode, okay? You want to see it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, this is what. He got a fucking puffball. Okay, it's like this. It's like a dog like this big, and it's like a puffball. It looks like a little puffball. That thing at one point was a wolf. Okay, but via selective breeding and domestication, we're too high up in the air. We're not getting reception. But anyway, through selective breeding and domestication, it is now. Yeah, it turned into this. That was a wolf. Okay, that was a wolf. You understand? Look how happy the girls look when they see it. Marcel knows what's up. Marcel knows what he's doing.
He's so sweet.
This, exactly, right? Now, if I tell you, I'm gonna take this little puffball and I'm gonna turn it back into a wolf that kills stuff, how do you feel about that? Yes. You're like, most of you guys are like, just leave it, it's so cute though. Just leave it. Just leave it. But if you were a female dog, do you want to braid with this thing? No, you want the wolf potentially. You don't want this thing, and that's what women don't get. Okay, can you see this thing? Okay, so most of you guys in this room are this. Okay, most of you guys in the room are this. So it's like, just leave it alone. It's cute, right? It bought me a drink, and like, you know, right? I love guys like that. Drink his cum. Ew. So, okay. So like, because girls will say, like, I love little sweet guys. Like, I love little beta males. I'm like, envision him impregnating you. And they're like, ah, ah, ah. So, okay. So, all right, now let me try to explain to you what it means, why shit has gone feral, okay? So let's cover the feral component, okay? So you remember I talked about the Milgram experiment, how people fall into other people's frames, and how, let's say that like chimpanzees, another pack of chimps come, kill the males, and those female chimpanzees go on the new guys, right? So from years and years of patriarchy, and by the way, I'm gonna make two main points here. I'm gonna talk about frames, and then I wanna talk about the spiritual essence of men and women. Could you guys remind me of that? Because they're both key points. Yes, sir. Remind me of that, okay? Can you remember? Yes. Okay, because I'm gonna talk about the movie The Fountain that I like to talk about. So just remind me on that, okay? And I'll grab a chair for a second. I'm kind of running around. Okay, so the first thing to understand. So basically what you had, women are highly emotionally intelligent. They're highly socially aware. And so as a result of that, they've also lived under patriarchy for all of existence. So they're also aware of their survival, okay? They're aware of their survival. Have you ever seen the movie by Sacha Baron Cohen, Borat, Bruno, or there's another one called This Is America? You ever see that? Okay, so you know how he's able to get them to say some crazy shit? Okay, like he'll get, in one case he pretended to be a waiter, and he got a food reviewer to say that he's eating the human meat of a Chinese dissident. You ever see this? Okay, he'll bait people into saying things that are racist, sexist, homophobic, talk about eating a human, and he'll get them to do this, right? Now, he would frame it that he is simply uncovering the evils of society and exposing it. In reality, what he's not telling you is any of you could go around and get people to say all sorts of crazy shit if you have what's called a strong frame. Say the word strong frame. So Sacha Baron Cohen has a crazy, crazy strong frame. So he can go to somebody and get them to say something bad that they don't actually believe because his frame is strong. Are some of those people a sexist or whatever? Sure, probably some of them are. But I predict that what I think is a lot of them aren't. And he literally just frame controlled them, and then he put them in a fucking movie and ruined their lives. I actually think he's a piece of shit. I think that guy is a piece of fucking filth because because most of you in this room, he could do that too. Most of you in this room. And then now you'd be exposed to 100 million people as an evil person, when in reality, most of the people watching it would have fallen for that too. I think that's a shit move. It's a shit move to do that to somebody. You don't want to know something? When I do videos with people, I tell them, if you want to delete after, you can delete it. You want to nuke it after? You can delete it. I'm not going to ruin your fucking life over this shit, okay? When you guys see me doing street interviews, you'll notice that I thank the people in the interview, and I say, hey, like, I appreciate you being in the interview, right? I want people not to feel embarrassed. If they're censored and you hide their identity, that's a little bit different. But if you're going to show someone's face and they don't like the way they're represented, I think being like, ha, gotcha, I think that's fucking bullshit. And a lot of those people in the establishment media, they do that shit all the time. They fuck with you, they ask you fucked up questions, all sorts of stuff. They tell you it's going to be a great interview, they bring you in, they try to fucking fuck you up, all sorts of shit they do, okay? Well, what I'm saying is, women are very, very socially intelligent, and they're able to feel a strong frame, and they're able to feel society's values, and they understand how to harmonize, right? Women understand how to harmonize a family. Women understand how to adapt to their environment. They're very adaptable, okay? Most beta male men are also adaptable, and that is why beta male men, if you show the red piece of paper and then nine other actors say that it's yellow, most beta male men will believe it's red. The kind of guy that I want you to be in this room is a fucker, okay? Just a fucker who sits there and you can see it's red and you go, you fuckers are crazy. Are you, this thing is red. What the hell's wrong with you guys? That's the fucker that I am, okay? My son Dylan is also a real little fucker like that, okay? I got videos of Marcel trying to hypnotize Dylan. And by the way, I think what Marcel does with hypnosis is amazing, and that it actually helps people. But the point is that, you know, you should like allow it. He tried to hypnotize Dylan. Dylan went, he was like, what the fuck? I can't remember what he said. Grabbed a fucking, paper towel and pelted him with it and started laughing at him, pointing and laughing at him. Okay? My son Tristan's even worse. Okay? He won't listen to anything. He will only do what he wants. And you can't trick him. Anything you try to trick him, he knows he's getting tricked. Okay? So, have you guys ever noticed that a lot of these, like, quote unquote, alpha male influencers that have kind of, and to be honest, I'm like kind of one of them to some extent, but it's like, it has like this like bad stereotype that they're always like yelling and kind of angry looking. You ever notice this, right? Yeah. You know, like Tate and guys like that, right? Like just kind of angry, kind of yelling and stuff like that. Okay, Elliot's like that, right? You want to know why a lot of like alpha male guys are just like kind of look angry and yelling all the time? You want to know why? Because the world is so fucking manipulative. There's so many people coming at you with lies. Everyone is so full of shit that if you actually are not in the group think and being frame controlled, and you can actually use your own eyes to see things, you're just angry every day. I am mad every day. Okay? I'm constantly angry because I'm like, that's not true. That's not, you're fucking lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to me. You're full of shit. This is bullshit. Like, it's like everything you see is just like, it's like the I see dead people from, this is like what is Sixth Sense or whatever, right? It's like I see fucking manipulative liars. You know, an alpha male looks like the mainstream news. He's like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, what in the fuck is this? So, of course you're fucking pissed. Just the constant lying, you know, and it's massive manipulation by different collective groups, different agendas, different corporations. The corporations are lying to you. The government's lying to you. Okay, do you understand? Cynicism of government is good citizenry. Do you understand that? If you're not cynical of a bunch of power-hungry administrators who we need them, but if you're not cynical of them and providing pushback, that makes you a bad citizen. You're a bad citizen. Like the government's got my back, okay? Big pharma's got my back, okay? That means you're literally abdicating your responsibilities. You're not even fulfilling your responsibilities. You're supposed to be cynical. You're supposed to be a little bit pessimistic. You're supposed to have that. That's what the country is based on. Read the writings of Thomas Jefferson. I mean, he literally believed that every second generation, I'm not suggesting that we should do this now at all, but he believed that every second generation there'd be a revolution. He thought it would just be nonstop. You know some of the quotes he says? I won't even say them. And that's a founding father, and I can't say them. You guys know that? If I say some of the quotes of the founding fathers, I'll get in trouble for it. You guys realize that? What did the tree of liberty have to get watered by? Don't answer. What did the tree of liberty have to go on? Don't answer. Don't answer. And I'm not saying to do that, but because people misquote me. But I'm just saying, like, that's what he believed. That was his understanding of psychology. Just these power-hungry piece of shit fucking monarchs, right? And we have monarchs now, guys. They just don't wear a crown. Okay? Now, back in the day, how did a monarch influence the people? They would just tell them what to do, and then say, I have the divine right of kings. Aren't you a good Christian? I have the divine right of kings. Look at that shit. That's a great manipulation. The divine right of kings. Oh my God. I didn't think about that. I have the divine right of a king to rule you. Shut the fuck up. Die. Okay? Is what George Washington said, not me. So, okay? Yeah, George Washington's an alpha male. He's like, you can tell me what tea to drink? Fuck you. Fuck you. Okay? Okay, he would have said, that's the red paper. That's the red paper. So now, understand though, because women are more emotionally intelligent than men, because women are more socially intelligent than men, because women have lived under patriarchy and they often seek to create harmony, they will tend to be aware of what the frame is and go with that frame because they're nice. So as a result, not every woman, okay, not every woman. Okay, certainly not everyone, but a lot of time. So that being the case, what is the frame right now about relationships, okay? If we go right now on Instagram, what is the actual programming that women are receiving about relationships and family? Have you looked? Because I've looked. You know how I looked? Because there's a button, I've got hundreds of female friends, and there's a button, and the button shows what your female friends are liking. They gone feral, boys. Okay? They've gone feral. Okay? Here's basically what it is. Have as many experiences as you can. Don't let a man hold you back. Can't trust a man. Men are a piece of shit. Men are garbage. Men ain't shit. There's an entire niche called the men ain't shit niche. Men are fucking losers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? So that's where it's at. And anything regarding depending on a man is super low social status to them. And also, are you seeing like beautiful marriages and women having kids? Stuff like that? No. What you're seeing is they're at Coachella. Like that's the thing is Coachella. Okay? That's the frame that's being imposed is Coachella. But here's the other thing. If you compare the frame of the average guy compared to the frame of the average girl has a way stronger frame than a man does now. Way stronger. And that's why most of them have no respect for you at all. No respect. They've got respect for you in the sense they think you're the cute little puppy, but if that puppy tries to hump their leg, it's like, oh, you got to get off. So that's the degree of disrespect. Now, I'm going to explain to you why that is. Remind me to bring in the spiritual component as well, okay? So I'm going to explain to you exactly what's going on, and within that, I'm going to try to explain to you what is actually your best bet as far as attracting a partner to have a family with, okay? Couple key points. I've got to hit a couple points here. Okay, number one. Are any of you in this room feeling now like, well, wait, if this is what the environment is, I don't even want to get married, which I actually don't think right now you should get married, but I don't want to have a partner. I believe in marriage, by the way. I just don't think the current version of marriage makes sense. Traditional conservatives, who I love to death, will tell you, just get married. If you could find someone who would not leave you, I will agree. But what they don't realize is a lot of those guys, a lot of these conservative commentators who I love and I'm a fan of, are mega famous, and they're dating and they're married to average looking women. So if you're mega famous, married to an average looking woman, don't go telling a random guy who's not mega famous, not mega rich, like, just get married, it worked for me. Okay, because they don't have the frame in their favor. And even some of them lose their wives. Even some of them do and they're shocked by it. But a lot of them won't. But that's because there's a value discrepancy. Okay? They have a asymmetry in sexual market value to their wives. I think their wives are amazing people. I don't care if they're average looking or not. I love average looking people. I'm average looking, might be even a little funny looking myself. No judgment, but I'm just saying, like, don't come to me as like a mega famous celebrity, millionaire with an average looking wife and then be like, I got the answer for you, right? Like, buddy, come on. So you have to consider the source, okay? Find me some like little leprechaun man who's doing his thing. Maybe I'm gonna listen. So, okay, now let's continue. Okay, so a couple key points. Couple things I gotta hit you with. Okay. So you as men allowed it to get to this point. You allowed that. That's on you. So the women are responding to the frame that's being set. So if you as a man allowed, the World Economic Forum and all these people to set the frame that going to Coachella and getting dicked down is the value, and you put that as the frame, and then women don't want to marry you anymore, who's to blame? What did you personally do to fix any of this? So if you didn't personally do something to fix it, then you've got to realize that you're part of the problem. And then if you want to still have a family, if you don't want to go childless, then you're going to have to adapt. So you can either do the passport bros thing, or you can do what I'm going to teach you here, okay? But the truth is that what was basically a guarantee for a guy in the 1950s, like, go get a job at the car factory, and you're going to have like your own house, picket fence, and you're going to have a cool wife who's around as attractive as you, who's going to respect you. That's gone. That is so far gone, it's not even funny. Maybe some guys get it, but for most guys, what up, bro? Come and have a seat. But for most guys, that is so far not going to happen for them. It is not remotely likely for the average guy to have that, okay? And that's why you don't see a ton of that anymore. You're just not seeing it. So that deal is gone. Of course. What's your question? I think there's a depopulation agenda, and that the population is going down. And I think we're losing entire countries. There's entire countries going to be gone. Like countries like Japan will just be gone. They're not reproducing. The suicide rate among guys is super high. We have all these neat guys, no, what is it again? No education, employment or training. Look, if I was a woman, I wouldn't date one of those guys either. If I was a woman, I also wouldn't get a husband. I wouldn't do it either, because I know what the guys are like out there. And I'm going to explain why in a minute. So that's the first thing to understand, okay? Now, so the first point I'm making is, if you're pissed off, unless you personally did anything, like writing a comment on the internet doesn't count, guys, okay? Writing a comment on the internet doesn't count. So unless you personally did it, because society changes when people have collectives. There has to be collective pressure. So unless you are going to create some kind of collective pressure, you're stuck in the system that you're in, right? Likewise, like you also realize, if you do not, you can't just go eat at regular restaurants and shop at a regular grocery store and not die from that. You know that, right? So you have to make extra money. The soil is losing nutrients. There's less nutrients in the soil. There's poisons and toxins, microplastics everywhere. And there's hormones, antibiotics everywhere. So unless you exert intention and proactivity, say the word intention. Proactivity. That is where society's at. Likewise, back in the day, you could get into college for a fair price. Now you go to college, you rack up a big debt, you don't get a job. I have friends who have graduate degrees from top schools. They hit me up and ask if they can get a sales commission-based job from my company. Tons of them. A girl that I know who has a neuroscience degree, PhD, asked me if I could get her a job doing cold calls in my company. So that's super common. So back in the day, you could go to college, you didn't rack up a big debt, you could get a job, you could get a job at the car factory, they wouldn't lay you off, you had a retirement, you had a wife. There was basically a system by which an average person could have a fun life, and America had the biggest world class and half the money in the world. That's all gone. Being in the middle class now means death, literal death, and poverty. Trying to use the I'm looking for a wife thing means you go childless. Eating food from the grocery store or restaurants means you die of cancer or heart disease. Basically, anything that you do where you follow the path of least resistance, a lot of bad people have figured out that a lot of people do follow the path of least resistance, and they've set it up where it is a soft kill. It's a soft kill. It's just killing you. It's a soft kill. Okay? That's where you're at.
What do you mean?
Soft kill means they're putting false paradigms in your brain. They're poisoning you. You're basically around tons of poisons, toxins, endocrine disruptors, hormone disruptors. The guys are spaced out. The guys' testosterone levels dropping off. Their sperm counts are dropping off. they're a bunch of chodes. So, you know, that's where guys are at. They're a bunch of chodes. The social conditioning's poisoning their brains. They go into, they do the quote right thing and get married, and then they get fleeced. They do the right thing, go to college, they get a debt, they don't get a job. They do the right thing, work for a corporation, and they can't retire. They do the right thing and eat, you know, like a standard American dinner that the government promotes as being healthy. They get poisoned, they die. You know, all this stuff. They follow the narrative surrounding women. They can't even get they can't get a date on a dating app, but they feel like if they approach someone that's not good either. It's just a mess. Society's a mess. There's a lot of good things about society too. Lots of great things, tons of it. Don't throw the baby with the bathwater. I like a lot about society, but there's problems in it, okay? You know? And you guys put this in your head when you talk? Yep. Smart move. And you guys use Bluetooth headphones? Yes. Good luck, my man. Smart move. You're told it's gonna be okay, guys. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. So basically what I'm telling you is, yeah, sorry about that. Okay, look, don't take my advice, just look it up yourself, see what you think, Google it. Okay, remember during the lockdown, you ever hear anything about zinc? You ever hear anything about vitamin D? Look that up. Look up vitamin D or zinc related to that issue and see what you say. See, and then marvel at the fact that no one even talked about that. But they'll give you a pharmaceutical. So basically what you have, by the way, I've been sick in 13 years. But do they ever talk about the stuff that I talk about? No. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not giving nutrition advice. I'm just saying it's kind of funny that from some basic books I figured out how to do that. They don't even teach it. Ridiculous. Okay? Remember I said that guys that see the red paper are mad all the time? Because everyone's fucking sick. Everyone's getting fucked over. Everyone's getting fucking lied to. The social condition's all fucked up. So that's why these like they call them like male alpha male influencers. I like kind of clown them. But that's why they always look angry. They're just pissed all the time because they're seeing the red paper. They're like, what the fuck? And then no one's listening, and then they speak up and they get in trouble. Yeah, they speak up, they get in trouble for it. Okay? So, okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so, the framing, okay, so I'm gonna try to talk about men's spiritual essence, women's spiritual essence. Now, you cannot make something that accounts for everybody. You can't, okay? I can't be like, all women are this or all men are this. Gay, straight, there's all sorts of people. I'm a very inclusive guy, actually. But what I'm getting at here, I like that you're finally looking at this. You're having a great reaction to this. I'd be fucking pissed. I would be so fucking pissed. It is crazy. There should be like, I won't get into it. If you understood how fucked this is, you're about to find out as you go down the rabbit hole. It's so fucked. But anyway, I'll keep going. So, okay. Men in general provide structure, but are kind of sterile. Okay? By sterile, I mean like they lack the emotion, they lack the fun, they lack the love, they lack the joy. Women tend to be more, maybe not as structured, but they bring the love, the joy, the nurturing. That's a more traditional way of how things can go, okay? Have you ever had it where maybe you had a girlfriend, if you're a guy, you had a girlfriend, and you thought that she didn't really do anything for your life? Maybe you live with her, right? And she would always put little cute things in the house, and like you thought it was kind of annoying and pointless, and then she dumped your ass. And then she left. And then all the plants are gone, the crystals are gone, all the dumb little paintings are gone. You know, you go to have like a Thanksgiving dinner with your boys. It feels kind of weird, okay? And then you walk in your house and it feels like you've entered a hospital or the DMV. You ever had that experience? So they say that men create the house, but what do women do? They make the home, okay? So men will go get the money, again, in general, there's exceptions to everything, but generally, men will provide a structure, but women will bring the emotion to it, okay? So in many ways of looking at it, the best movie that I ever saw in this in my life is called The Fountain, okay? It's an amazing movie. I cried really big in this because I felt like a moron. I actually watched this, I felt like an idiot. It's with Hugh Jackman. So basically, it's this movie that shows like these three different timelines. I don't want to give away the ending, but so I'll try to say it without giving away the ending because everybody should watch it. But it's basically Hugh Jackman, in one of the timelines, he knows that his wife is dying of cancer, okay? And so he becomes obsessed with trying to save her from her cancer. And she's like, look, like, I'm probably gonna die. I want to go play in the snow. And he's like, I can't play in the snow. I've got to do the research. I've got to save you. I've got to save your life. And she's like, can you just come and play with me? Can you have fun? And then the point is that by the end of the movie, Hugh Jackman, like it's kind of done as like a metaphor. He's literally figured out a way to shuttle towards the center of the universe and the center of all creation. And then I'm not going to give away the specifics of the ending, but the point of the ending is that he discovers at the end that everyone's infinite and that it really didn't matter. That's kind of like what he discovers, okay? And they show a metaphor for why, okay? So the point that it's trying to show is that women, in many ways, by a way of looking at it, have a certain connection to God and the infinite that guys are oftentimes lacking. And so that's why, like, whenever you think about something spiritual, right? I think about things like art, but I also think about things like laughter and dance. Laughter, art, creation, dancing, flowing, et cetera, right? So if you knew, let's say for example, that you knew that you're an infinite being, would you laugh more if you knew you're an infinite being for sure? Yeah. Would you want to pump your own state if you knew you're an infinite being for sure? Yeah. Would you want to dance if you knew you're an infinite being for sure? But see, as a man, we don't want to dance, right? Because we're like, I got fucking work to do. I'm a body, right? I got fucking work to do. Fuck this shit. So the girls are like dancing around. She's putting like some fucking crystal in the fucking house, fucking playing the house, some pig shit, you know, right? She's fucking laughing, pumping her state, right? You're like, this bitch is crazy, like, she's a crazy person, you know, right? Because you're seeing it through the container and the structure, right? Whereas women, it's more like flowing and what feels, you know, what's cute, what feels good in the moment. Like, have you ever noticed like the extent to which women are obsessed with like what's cute, right? Like, and like women, women put paint on their face, they color their hair, you know, they make themselves look a certain way. Women are also a lot more prone towards like lesbian sex and shit like that. Like they're kissing each other, they're sucking each other's tits and shit. It's just my world. But like, you know, so it's kind of like, you know, like you go in the, like me and you are in the bathroom, we're like looking away from each other, like, bro, like, what up, dude? Yeah, bro, right? Girls are like, you're so pretty, like, oh my God, like your boobs, like you're sexy, like, you know, it's like you're sexy, like all this kind of shit, right? So again, not all women, right? But anyway, so basically, women are more like connected to God and flowing. Men are more like disconnected, so creating structure. So the old structure under patriarchy, it was like, you and you are together. We have a structure. We will build society, right? Then what happened is some people call it late stage capitalism, right? You know, societies change. Now it's really more about flowing. So most girls who you see now, I can speak for most of my female friends, basically what they do is they have some kind of cute job that they like in some respect, and then they hang out mostly with each other, mostly with other girls, and then they go out, they dance, they have fun, go to Coachella, do whatever they're gonna do, and maybe they have like one club promoter or one fuckboy, okay? A lot of time, like one of my buddies will be having sex with like all the girls. Not necessarily at the same time, although in some cases, okay? One of my buddies who is probably the most flowy guy I know, he lives with two girls, and they have a social circle of maybe, I don't know if it's like 50 close female friends, all of them are gorgeous. And maybe like, I don't know, a couple hundred like more like acquaintances, right? And he'll just put on a party at his house, and they're all kind of having fun, they're dancing and so on and so forth. And he'll wind up having sex with 5 or 10 at a time, 20 at a time, sometimes 30 at a time. Now he's so unpossessive that those girls will wind up dating his friends, and they'll have a monogamous relationship with one of his friends. But when they break up, she comes right back, okay, to my buddy and his girlfriend, right? Because they like being part of that group. Why do they maybe prefer that over, it's nice to meet you. We will have a date at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. We will talk. What do they like about the, right? Because they're with their girls, they're flowing, it's in the moment, it's not premeditated, there's no structure, it's fun. And then, you know, my buddy's there, and I don't know, like his girlfriend's cute, and like they started kissing, but like probably nothing will happen. Oh, but then it did, right? And it's just like, it's all completely in the moment. Now, my buddy who does that, a lot of you guys, if you're hooking up with somebody, you might want them to be like, look, every Wednesday at 7, come over, right? Those girls don't do that with my buddy. They might go a year without hooking up with them. But then when the flow feels like it, they just go hook up with them, right? Then they go to Coachella, the promoter takes them out there, right? They're out there, they're dancing. Maybe they meet a boy, maybe they don't. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. It's not a big deal, right? It's all in the flow when they feel like it. It doesn't matter if it's the same guy. It's just all in the flow. And it's a little bit less like a provider male. It's more like a lion. Like my buddy is broke, by the way. So you asked about money. My buddy, whose sex life is way past anything you'll probably ever achieve in your life, has worked as long as I've known him as a waiter. He works as a waiter at Soho House. He works as a waiter at the Henry. Later, he became a remote phone sales closer. You know, broke. But probably the most flowy guy you've ever seen. He's flowy. He's like, yeah, like we're gonna go to this concert, right? He'll bring 20 girls out to a concert. You think he pays for it? They all pay. So it's something a little bit closer to a lion, where one lion kind of sits there grooming itself, and then the female lions go hunt, give food to the lion. He has 2 girlfriends that he lives with, and they just give him food. A lot of time he doesn't even work. They feed him, right? They feed him, and he's just flowy. He's just like a fun guy. He'll never pressure them. He'll never ask them for anything. He'll never need anything from them. He'll never exit the flow. He's just having fun with everybody. He's dancing with them. You know the best part about him too? You can't ask him about how he does this, because he's like a girl. If you ask him how he does this, he's like, I don't know, like stop being weird. It just happens.
I may have met him before.
You may have. Yeah, like if you ask him like, how do you do this? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, bro, I've seen what you do. It's insane. It's crazy. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. It's insane. I finally got him to admit that because he watches the Andrew Huberman podcast, he doesn't want to raise his dopamine too high. So he's like, you know, I've just decided I'm only having sex once every 2 weeks. And it's just with all of them. And if they don't get here, I'm not doing it. Ew. Like that's literally what this guy's doing. You might have met him, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, I'll mention to you later, okay? You may know him. So, yeah, he literally told me, he's like, look, ever since I watched the Andrew Huberman podcast, he's like, it's just too much dopamine to be coming all the time. So I just do semen retention. So like if they want it, like they better have it like this weekend. And they just all need to get it that night, because like I'm not meeting with all of them like all week and like all this stuff. Like I've got to save my dopamine. I'm on a dopamine detox. Like that's literally how crazy this guy is. Like that's where he's at with this, okay? So he's kind of built something basically in alignment with gynocentrism, right? Behind the future is female, right? Which is flowing and no pressure and no leadership and no structure. It's just like, you know, dance. Like we all go to the he took us once this concert called the Zoo, Zoo, ZHU. You know, ZHU is like an EDM artist. And we all went to the Zoo concert, and everyone's like, came up, and everyone's like, look at each other's outfits, right? And then he just brings them down. Then he brought them back up after, then the giant orgy. And yeah, that's like just a normal night for him. Now only once every 2 weeks though, because of his dopamine detox from Andrew Huberman. So it's interesting applications of the Huberman podcast. I thought that was funnier than you guys gave it credit for, but anyway, okay. So, so Huberman would be delighted to discover the interpretation of his work from my buddy. But anyway, so like 20 angry women, like ever since you taught him the dopamine detox, he'll only service us once every 2 weeks. So that is a functional model. But if you actually look at it, okay, for the average guy, what is more likely to get you a wife and a kid? Do you think my buddy would have trouble getting a wife and a kid? No. Not even slightly, right? But you can tell him, no, you shouldn't do it that way. That's weird. Do it the old school way. Be like, hey, good to meet you. What are your values? Like, we're gonna have a family? And the women that he's dating are truly creme de la creme, like uncomfortably beautiful, uncomfortably beautiful. He now started this new thing where he does he has a spa that he built, and he's advertising it by having all his hot female friends come over to the spa thing that he built. It's like super crazy. It is getting a little bit of virality. So, yeah, it's like all these girls like in the sauna, like all these super hot girls in the sauna. They're all his friends. All of them, okay? So, anyway, so that's one thing I want to explain to you is like, it's the flowiness, okay? So anything that you're doing that is trying to build a container or trying to be like, exert leadership, stuff like that, right? Like do it the old school way. Unless the girl is nearing the end, towards the end of her fertility, when suddenly that does become extremely attractive, that's kind of what's going on, okay? So I want to explain that. Now here's the last piece, and this is super, 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 super important what I'm going to explain to you, okay? Okay, so again, women are more socially intelligent, more emotionally aware, and better at harmonizing than guys in most cases. So they are entering into different frames. Back in the day, this is the key to the whole seminar. Back in the day, you had collective frame. The collective frame was designed to lower infidelity. The collective frame was towards marriage. And the collective frame was to prevent basically hypergamy from going on the rampage. Okay? That's pretty much what it did. It kind of tamped it down. Everything from the Bible to the friends. Like, do you guys even realize the extent to which if you don't befriend a girl's family and friends, you're likely to have her dump you? Do you actually understand that? I mean, be honest. How many times have you gotten a girl to dump her boyfriend? I've gotten countless girls to dump their boyfriends. I couldn't even count it. Thousands. Why is that? Because you just tell her, dump him. Dump the fucker. What are they going to do? If I am more confident than her boyfriend, and I go, piece of shit, dump him, what's going to happen? So, yeah, so understand, if, like, back in the day, you had a collective frame. So in other words, you had it to where the friends and family were there for the marriage. They don't want you to split apart. Maybe you lived in a small community. You're in a farming community. You're now sharing the fucking farm. The family doesn't want you to divorce. Also, there's no birth control. There's kids popping out. Don't leave your fucking kids. That's what was happening back then. So the frame was imposed by the church, by the community, and the biggest one is no Instagram. I'm telling you guys, Instagram is fucking poison. Okay? It's fucking poison. It is fucking poison. Okay? Here's what I mean by this. As one man, the chances of you maintaining frame for 50 years is next to zero. Okay? There's going to be a breach or lapse in frame. What happens in a relationship when there's a lapse in frame? It ends. Yeah, you got what's called an RAS flip, right? RAS flip, reticular activation system, RAS, it is what the brain focuses on and ignores. So what happens is, when a girl pedestalizes you, she sees only the good qualities. When she de-pedestalizes you, she sees only the bad qualities. When you chase a woman, what does that do to her RAS?
Depedestalizes.
It's a huge depedestalization. The second that you chase, boom, RAS flip. So they get this thing called the ick. You guys ever heard of the ick? Yeah. Okay, the ick is this trend on TikTok, Instagram, etc., which basically says like, when he breathes heavy, ick. When he looks at me weird, ick. When he has no beard, ick. When he has a beard, ick. When he's tall, ick. He's too tall, ick. Short, ick. Fat, ick. Skinny, ick. This ick, that ick. It's all ick. What is causing the ick? There's a root cause of the ick. Loss of frame and chasing and pedestalization creates the ick. Because what it does is it skews the buyer-seller dynamic, and the guy is trying to sell himself to her. Her brain will naturally say, what does this motherfucker want from me? If he's supposed to be good and awesome and I'm lucky, then why is he chasing me this hard? As a result of that, she gets the ick, okay? Here would be an example of how I'd say it to you. In every single breakup video, look up any breakup video on YouTube, they'll tell you the same thing. They say go no contact. What would every breakup channel tell you to not do if you get dumped? To never do if you get dumped? Come on, guys, wake the fuck up. Yell it out loud. Loud and fucking proud.
Beg for her back.
Yeah, now they say don't beg back. They literally tell you, accept the breakup, be nice about it, and then just stop contacting. Well, as much as we accept that that's true, how does that even make it, which it is true. It is true. How does that make any sense? Someone dumped you. Shouldn't you chase? Shouldn't you show them that you care? Shouldn't you show them that you love them? Shouldn't you show them that you would do anything for them to get them back? Wouldn't that be attractive? Well, why does it push them away?
You look desperate.
Guys, speak up. You got to speak up. You guys have all these big visions. You can't even speak up here.
Because you're putting them on the pedestal.
You're pedestalizing them. What is that causing her? Ick. Come on, guys. What does it cause? Ick. So she already left you, bro. Okay? Same as if a guy left you. They left. Well, now what's happening is you're chasing, it generates the ick. So logically, chasing them should increase your value. It's like, baby, I love you. Oh my God, like, there's been a miscommunication here. I fucking love you. What the fuck? Like, holy shit. That should help. Every single breakup channel will tell you not to keep calling. In about half of breakups, that will cause the person to come back. Why does that cause about 50% will come back if you do that? It's like 0% come back if you beg. Why is that? Wouldn't begging be good? Wouldn't being needy be good? We call needy bad. Notice that we're now used to calling needy bad. But back in the 50s, what did needy mean? Loyal, integrity. You'd be a good father. You could raise a kid. What's it mean now? Low value. And that you don't have frame. So the thing is that the fundamental difference between men and women in the 50s and men and women now is that men and women in the 50s, like we said, you were trying to show that you'd be a good father if you got her pregnant. But here's the other thing. You had collective frame. Say the word collective frame.
Collective frame.
Say it very loud, please.
Collective frame.
Say it very loud.
Collective frame.
Okay, so you had collective frame. So collective frame meant the frame in society, the underlying beliefs of society that she would harmonize to were stay with your man. So the value that you were trying to show was you were loyal. That was game in the 50s. Game in the 50s was flowers, the door, the chocolates. The neediness was good back then. I can't live without you was good back then. That was also in a patriarchy, okay? In a patriarchy where the woman was oppressed, where the woman did not have a great job, where the woman did not have a fucking stud of stud fuck boys, et cetera, okay? A quote, situationship with a living, breathing God. So, okay, whether that's a good-looking guy, a jack guy, a club promoter, a DJ, a celebrity, a popular guy, whatever that was, right? So that was also happening, okay? That was the thing that was going on. So you had collective frame. Now, everyone has gone what? What's the word everyone's gone?
Feral.
Feral, right? So because everyone has gone feral, the result of this, of everyone having gone feral, is it's now back to just raw swag and frame. Raw swag, raw frame. And that's it. That's what you got. That's what you're working with. Raw swagger and raw frame. Here's why you're fucked. When you have multiple girlfriends, you are being validated constantly, okay? You're constantly being validated. When you have multiple girlfriends, the reason why women will tend to be addicted on you like crack cocaine when you have multiple girlfriends is because you have so many women affirming you that you never are out of your own frame. Because you're in abundance and because you have options. How do we know this? How do we know? If you go to a bar club and you begin to chat everybody and it goes well, what happens to your brain?
Wonder effect. It lights up.
Your brain lights up, you go in state. Have you ever noticed the amount of how much attraction you generate? If you do a proper like social warm-up and you just start talking to everybody, have you seen how much attraction you get? It is insane. When I first found that out when I was young, I couldn't believe my eyes. I remember I had like 5 or 6 really positive interactions. I was like 21, 22. I went in state and I lit the club up. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I was like, what is happening? I'm walking on water. I am walking on fucking water. I am walking on water. Now, the art and craft of what I pursued over the years was learning how to hold that frame without validation, okay? But that took me decades, okay? So normal people who don't meditate, study spirituality, go on a multi-decade journey of self-affirmation, okay? Normal people, okay, they're not weird as fuck. Their frame grows when they have a bunch of people that are into them, and their frame goes down when they don't. So what happens is, most of attraction is generated via shit testing and your passing of shit tests, and it's generated via the strength of your frame. So what happens is, like, here'd be an example, right? I was talking to this one girl, probably one of the prettiest girls I've probably ever seen in my life. And she was like, send me $5. I'm like, no, I'm not sending you $5. She's like, send it to me. She kept telling me to send, she kept asking me for $5. I said, no. Next thing you know, she's like, I want to marry you. Okay? So attraction is generated via, because there was a shit test. I'm like, why is this girl asking me for $5? Okay? So, like, I would have given her I would give any of you $5. Okay? Want 5? I got 5 for you, okay? Because I'm not trying to put my dick in your mouth. So, but if I was, I'm not giving you the $5. So basically, so the problem is, okay, you get married, you give her half your net worth, you know, you've gotten rid of all your other girls, you're just with her, and then she shit tests. You're gonna fail the shit test. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail, man. Because this ain't just $5, right? This is like some serious coinage. You're about to lose some serious coinage. You ever seen Hulk Hogan in that show, the Hulk Hogan reality show, when his wife left him and she's fucking like the pool boy, and she took his mansion in Miami, in like Star Island or wherever it was, and he's going by in a boat and he can see his wife getting like fucked in his mansion? That's life, bro. Even the Hulkster can't even not fail the shit test. That's Hulk Hogan. America, okay? That guy's gonna fail a shit test. Tom Brady can't even pass. Dr. Dre can't even pass. And you're gonna pass the shit test? Right, bro. Yeah, Tom Brady couldn't make it work, but you're gonna make it work, bro. But Tom Brady, he was just mean to his wife because he didn't give enough attention. It's Tom Brady. It's Tom fucking Brady. Your husband is Tom Brady. Half of you guys would fuck Brady. You're not even gay. Okay? And while every girl in here will go, I wouldn't fuck Tom Brady. Right. Okay? Because most of the guys will fuck Tom Brady. So there's no shame in it. Right? But you wouldn't fuck Tom Brady, right? No, of course you wouldn't fuck. Of course if Tom Brady was right here, walked in like 6'5", everyone's like, Tom, like that. And he was like, hey, it's really cool to meet you. Like, oh, it's really nice. And actually was nice to you, okay? So that guy can't hold frame. But you're gonna hold frame, right? So if Tom Brady can't even keep his wife, like, what does that tell you, right? So what I'm saying is, you have to understand that, like, remember I said earlier that I want to try to help you to learn how to have a family? The reason why, when you don't want a girlfriend anymore, you're likely to attract a high quality woman that you might want to have a family with is because when you've built the skills to have that degree of affirmation, you will be able to hold frame on an impossibly attractive woman. Okay? There's women out there that are light years above of other women, and what's gonna happen is you're gonna be dating different women, and you're gonna meet a girl that is so much higher quality, and you're gonna hold frame with her easily. Very, very easily. But the problem is, at some point, when you get rid of the other girls for her, and you're financially invested in her, you might fail to hold frame. And society's not holding it for you anymore. So you wanna think about this within a context of a couple things. So here's the changes that I would urge you to make, okay? So I'm gonna show you how this actually works. I'm gonna tie all the threads together here for you, okay? So the first thread that I wanna tie together for you is this. If you would like to have a family, you cannot, just like you can't rely on the modern day food supply, it's gonna kill you. Just like you can't rely on even a cell phone device, it's gonna do what it's gonna do. Just like you can't rely on modern day education to actually educate you to be a millionaire, it's just gonna educate you to be a factory worker. You can't rely on almost anything where you're taking the path of least resistance. Assume that you have to have, repeat this after me, intention. Proactivity. Okay, and boundaries. So if you don't want to die, you're gonna have to learn about where to get healthy food. You can't just get it from 7-Eleven, okay? That shit will kill you, okay? Don't drink alcohol, don't smoke weed. I know you love your alcohol, I know you love your weed. Avoid that stuff. Avoid processed foods. Avoid all this shit, okay? there's spiritual pollution, there's light pollution. Guys, there's light pollution. You even know that? There's light pollution, okay? Light pollution, spiritual pollution, food pollution, relationship pollution. So you can have a family, you can get kids, you can have a family, you can be a father. If you're a mom, you can be a mother, you can do it, but you have to have more intention, okay? So I'll tell you what I would do if I was a woman, and I'll tell you what I suggest a guy, because I got a bunch of women here too. I'm gonna tell you shit you're not gonna wanna hear, okay? And you can fucking hate me. I'm a man giving advice to a woman. I understand that, it's bad, okay? I have nothing of value to say because I'm a guy. So I'll give you my valueless garbage. Okay, so what I would say, look, there is advice that is good for the individual, and there's advice that is good for the collective, okay? So basically, if I was so famous that the whole country in the world was watching my videos, I would give advice that would be more of like a compromise. I would try to create unity and compromise. I don't have a, trillion people watching me or something like that, okay? So I'd say, I'm gonna give you advice of like what I would do if I was a woman, and then I'll say what I'd do if I was a guy, and then I'll say what I would do like collectively. I have no problem that women have hypergamy at all. I don't have any problem with it. Like guys complain about like women want a high value guy. I'm like, why are you bitching? Just be a high value guy. So I have no problem with women wanting a high value guy. I don't mind that at all. I would think, if I had a daughter, I'd want to have a high value guy. I have no problem with that. My advice to women would be a couple things. One is, just because he fucks you doesn't make you his girlfriend. But I've got worse advice than that. Just because he's your boyfriend and he buys you shit doesn't make him your husband. And I got even more fucked up shit than that. Just because he knocked you up and he's your husband, that still ain't shit. Because that guy you don't even know if he has any fucking savings to take care of you. If I'm a woman and I'm pumping out this fucker's kids, motherfucker, you're gonna take care of me. So that's the advice I'd have to a woman. The other advice I have to a woman is, don't go off pure value. Be creative in your mate selection. Find a man who makes you better and you make him better, and you become a 10 together. Collectively, you become a unit that makes you a 10. Because when you just go for the guy that's a 10, there's a reason why Leonardo DiCaprio only dates women up till 25 and gets rid of them and will never get married. He has look, be honest, for you guys in here. I've been at Leo's tables a lot of times, okay? I see him at One Oak, I see him out all the time. Look, his fucking production company was on my street, okay? So the thing is, if you were Leo DiCaprio and you had literally unlimited supermodels trying to fuck you all day, 24 hours a day, would you ever get a girlfriend? Tell the truth. No. It would almost never happen, right? Doesn't mean it couldn't. And then even if you got a girlfriend, would it be stable? No. It's also why women are not that stable, because women have a lot of options. So if I'm a woman, I wouldn't just like find these uncreative guys where it's like I've talked to women who are like, I would never get a boyfriend. Well, unless it was Drake. And in my mind, I'm like, why do you want to be Drake's girlfriend? Like, I mean, maybe not after the Kendrick diss, but why would you want to be Drake's fucking girlfriend? Like, he's never going to be he's never going to be a good husband. It's just, that's not the right fit. And plus, it's not like Drake is even genetically superior. He's some little singer guy. He's an attractive man. I'm not putting him down, but like, he's just some little guy's like, da, 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 da. Like, that's not even good. Okay? It'd be one thing if it's like an Olympic athlete or some shit, you know what I mean, right? Like some kind of specimen that just impregnated you. Then there's an argument, I guess. Okay, so then from there, what I say is if I was a woman, like, okay, let me give an example, okay? When I find a coach, I don't want Tony Robbins to be my coach. You want to know why I don't want Tony Robbins? Now, if I could get him in a fair way, I would. But you can't get, you guys gotta understand, Tony Robbins is not available. You can't do it. What do you guys think it costs for 3 one-on-one calls that are 1 hour each with Tony Robbins? What does it cost?
$300,000.
It's $1 million, 3 phone calls, and he bragged at the seminar that I was at. He's like, back in the day, you know, they'd pay $1 million for the 3 phone calls, and I'd give him an extra 5 minutes. But you know what I realized? These guys are taking advantage of me. I gotta recognize my worth. So right at that hour, I just hang up. I'm like, damn, bro, that's cold. This paid you $1 million for 3 phone calls. That's cold. Okay? Here's the problem. You don't have enough money for Tony to give a shit. Okay? So when I got a bunch of coaches. When I hire coaches, I want to get the best coach that I can get that I can afford. Okay? So like the problem with Tony is you even give him 10 million, he's probably not going to call you back. You give him 50 million, he's like, nah. You can't get him to take you serious. Nothing that a woman can do will make Drake take her serious. It does, and every woman believes they have the platinum vagina. It's like, no, by the power of my platinum vagina, Drake will be my boyfriend. And it's like, I get it that you have the platinum vagina, okay? I acknowledge spiritually and humbly that your vagina is made of gold. I acknowledge that. It's not about your vagina not being made of a precious metal. It is that this guy is out of his mind. It's not that you're not good enough. It's that no one's good enough. And then women will chase these guys and chase and chase and chase and chase. He's not gonna be anyone's boyfriend. So if I was a woman, I would just step out of that whole game and I would find a guy, I would find the best guy that I can who gives a shit, okay? Who actually gives a shit. That's what I would be going for. Also, let me give a tip to women. If he's not nervous around you, he's cheating on you. If he's not a little awkward on a date, he's not gonna be exclusive with you, okay? Let me explain to you why. About once a year, I meet a girl that I consider being exclusive with, maybe once every 2 years. And I can barely talk, okay? And I got swag. And I'll be like, hey, you know, they're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, right? That's what I look like, okay? You know Kyle in South Park when he sees a girl, he pukes? So if I was a woman, if that guy is holding frame on you, that's your signal that he's not gonna commit to you because he's not scared. He's not afraid. He has no loss aversion. The loss aversion will shut the guy down. So if I was a woman, I'd be looking for a guy that has some degree of loss aversion. The problem is your whole wiring is built to shut down a guy with loss aversion. Your whole wiring is built to deny the guy that likes you. And this is why I'm gonna turn my advice to men. As a man, you have to have so much swag that you need to assume to have about triple to 10x the frame and swagger that you would need to get the girl that you want. And you need to be dating girls that are like her. In other words, if that's how much swag she needs, you can't assume that if you have that much swag, that'll get you over the hump with her. Because the problem is, once you meet a girl that you like, you get loss aversion. What is the entire foundation of swag? Abundance. That is what gives you your swag, is abundance. So when you know that you're not in abundance, what's gonna happen is your swag's gonna go down. So if that's how much swag you have, and that's how much swag she needs, and you like her, your swag's gonna go to here. So that, in other words, to get the girl that you like, you need that much swag, okay? So let me give another piece of advice to guys. You can't hold a girl who you couldn't get another one at her level within about 3 weeks, okay? So whatever kind of girl you want, make friends with about 50 or 100 girls that are about as attractive as her. Then what you should do, I always say, Taco motherfucking Tuesday. Repeat that after me. Taco motherfucking Tuesday. So here's the problem, okay, what guys do. How did you attract the girl in the first place? You were going out, you were socializing, you had female friends, you were out of your head, you had charisma, you had swagger. Then what happens, you get the girl, you go back to being a provider, right? You go back in provider mode. Provider, 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 provider. What's gonna happen is you lose your abundance, you lose frame, you become boring, okay? So right now, I do probably the best parties in Los Angeles, if not some of the best parties in LA, and I help organize the other ones that are competitors. And then from there, I'm stacked with models, stacked with stunners, all that stuff. But the thing is this, if I'm in a relationship, I'm not necessarily gonna torment my girlfriend by stacking it out with Wilhelmina models, but I can do a Taco Tuesday. So what do I mean by a Taco Tuesday? What I mean is I can invite over my guy friends who respect me, and I can invite over my real female friends, not just models and stuff, that respect me. And then what's gonna happen is a couple things. First of all, she's gonna see you being respected, but also, and this is kind of bad, but she's gonna know that her female friends will have sex with you and will become your girlfriend if she leaves, and that's gonna piss her off. And also, it means that if she does leave, you have now socially proved yourself to that social circle. So as a result of that, you're gonna notice that if you do that, every single girlfriend that you have over your youth, like through your 20s and early 30s, so you find someone to have kids with, they'll all know each other. They actually all know each other. Yep, they'll know each other. That girl, when you guys break up, will call complaining to the other girls in the social circle, which will then social proof you, and then they'll go for you. So, okay, so that's what happens. So the thing is, why do guys have to do that? Because girls are always being approached. They've always got guys in the DM. They're always being validated. They're constantly being validated. They're constantly being validated. So if you're not on her level of being validated, it's kind of hard to maintain it. Now look, I'm 45. I could probably go without that at this point because I've read Eckhart Tolle for 2 decades. I've meditated, I've been to spiritual retreats. I don't necessarily need a lot of affirmation from women to be a cocky fucker. But for most guys, that's a journey and you're not necessarily there yet. So be aware that she's constantly being affirmed. She's always in abundance, okay? And then what I would say to you is, learn the following. Don't believe the hype that just getting jacked is gonna get you success or just getting money is gonna get you success, because it's not that those things aren't good, it's that it's a lane where most of you can't win because it's an oversaturated lane and most of you can't be elite in that lane. If you can, then fine. Although rich dudes getting ultra rich guys being cheated on is a stereotype, but you know, you can do what you wanna do, okay? So what you wanna do is you wanna have it to where you understand how to see people out and engage in conversations. So when I'm out all day, I engage in conversations, all day. All day, I'm engaging in conversations. They're chill. I'm not hitting on anybody. I never hit on anybody. I don't hit on people. I'm not gaming. I'm just socializing. But I'm always, always, always socializing. Then I always, always, always have events to invite people to. And I always have an Instagram story. So what I do is I put on little events, little parties, seminars, groups of friends. I don't just do parties at my house. I do parties at my friends' houses, and I engage in society, okay? I engage in society. So I have a lot of male friends. I do things for those male friends. I help them with social media. I help them with marketing, things like that. Also, have male deep friendships with the other men in your city that know the girls. There's always gonna be 5 or 10 main guys in every city that just know all the girls. And you wanna really, really be on those guys' nuts. Big time, okay? So when I go out, the first thing that I do, if I go out, is say I'm at an exclusive club, there's all the tables. I'm like, where's the guys that I need to know? Right away, where's the guys I need to know? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna show up, I've got like 12 girls with me, right? I'm gonna ask some of my female friends to come. I'm gonna go to his table. I'm gonna make introductions to him, and then I'm gonna befriend him. Then I'm gonna have things that I can invite him to. I'm gonna have parties and things that I can invite him to. I'm gonna invite him to parties, and then become friends with them. What you're gonna watch that guy do when I do this is that guy will be with a big group of girls, and he's gonna go, this guy Owen is awesome. This guy is cool. That doesn't mean they're all attracted. It just means that I'm making more female friends, okay? So you wanna have it where any attractive woman in your city that you meet, when you guys trade Instagrams, all the high-level guys that she follows and that she respects follow you. Right away, all those mutuals you got. Also, all her attractive female friends also follow you. She goes, whoa, you know her, oh my God, how do I not know you yet? Okay? So you have all that. Now this is just in your own city. Look, if you're traveling, you don't need all this, okay? If I'm in Vegas, Miami, South Beach for the weekend, I don't need all this. I'll just meet somebody out. I know how to do that too. But in your home turf, come on. That's your home turf, there's no excuse, okay? You've got to have friends that are social, you've got to have friends that are going out, and you've got to have female friends. Your female friends literally should be recommending you to everybody. he's the man, he's the best, he's so cool, and then you want to treat her like fucking royalty, okay? My female friends can't believe it. I take them to spa, I take them to fancy dinners, I take them on little vacations, and they're literally like, are you trying to date me? I'm like, no, you're my friend. They're like, really? Wow, really? I'm like, yeah, you're my friend. I'll take them out to Catalina Island. I'll pay for all of them, I don't care. They're my friends. Treat your female friends like fucking royalty. Now, some of them will abuse of that. Some of them, they'll do that with you, but they won't even go on your Instagram stories because they don't want to look slutty. No. You can't even go on my Instagram story? You're ashamed to be my friend? Nope. See you later. Goodbye. Don't even say it to them. Just don't talk to them. There's some girls who get it. They get it. Yes, this guy will be nice to me, and I'm going to make him look super fly fucking cool, okay? Always have an army of girls that want to go out with you to the club, that want to come to your parties, so that way people know if I invite Chris or Steve or whoever, he's bringing 50 girls. So you're always invited to the best and most exclusive parties, okay? You want to be invited to the best parties, best events. You want to know everybody. Guys, you can do this shit in 2-3 hours a night. Until you have your children, you've got to keep networking, guys, okay? When you have kids, you can stop this and downgrade to Taco Tuesday, okay? But until you actually have kids, you should be networking. Look, the truth is, as a woman, I'd be doing the same shit. I'd be doing a little different because I don't need social proof from a guy, but I would be, if I was a girl and I was thinking of like having kids with somebody at some point, I would be meeting the creme de la creme guys. But I wouldn't be going for these like Drake fuckboy guys that are just gonna pound my pussy and leave. I'd be going for guys who I would try to get the best guy that I could who actually gives a shit, which that's the paradox. Yep.
What do you do?
Gotta speak up.
What if you do if like you cheered on the field with like Tom Brady, you woke up in the penthouse with Chris Brown, like you're tired, you still have to socialize with people?
You can do whatever you want, okay? So she's been on the field, Tom Brady. She's literally been at the club with Chris Brown, and you're like,
No, woke up.
I've got a chance. Woke up at the penthouse with him, but you're like, I got a chance, okay? Okay? Can you imagine the degree of abundance? Can you imagine the degree of abundance you would have to have for her to respect you? Can you guys imagine that? So the thing is like, or to be on an equal frame. So the thing is like, and then you're gonna go talk to her, and she's talked to Tom Brady, and you're like,
Not dog to cheer on the field.
well, she's watched him kick some ass, so that's her standard. So, okay. So anyway, so the point being is like, you do whatever you want, but it's like, do you care if you have kids? Like, that's what it comes down to. And all you can do what you want. Do you care if you're gonna have kids? This isn't like back in the day where you go to church, you're 20, she's 20, the fucking pastor tells you guys to go on a date. You know, there's like, you're living in a fucking village, you know, there's like 6 girls, 6 guys that are like 20. You get paired up, you got your kid, and then you can just like, you know, ignore her while watching television, working at the car factory, and she's gonna stay home and serve you. That's done, right? I'm looking at her here, she's nodding, she's like, fuck that shit, right? Agreed?
I just told them that. I was telling
Yeah.
them, I said, I would not choose a man with money just because he has money. Like, I want a good lifestyle, I want to have fun, I want to enjoy. Remember? I was saying I want the whole experience, and I want to be attracted to him. I want everything.
Yeah.
And I want to make my own money and have that security too. I want his money too, but you know, I want everything.
Everything.
Want.
More
And
better.
And I
Say that word, say more and better.
And better.
Okay, keep going. And say everything.
yeah, but I appreciate your advice for women because I naturally always operated like that, and I never understood why girls want to share. I hate sharing a man. It's so weird to me.
But have you ever been in a situationship?
Not really.
Ever?
Like, once I sense there's another woman presence, I get turned off.
Got it.
It's like, I need you to serve me.
So you've only been in monogamous committed relationships your whole life?
Yeah, and then if they cheat, I gotta go. Like,
Props. Give her a hand. I'd be lying if I didn't think you're rationalizing. I believe that you have been in a situationship and didn't know it. I believe you've had situationships, you're not saying it, but you know better than me. Okay? Because most of my female friends will say that, and then later I dig in, they're like, well, you know, right? And then like it kind of comes out. But maybe you haven't been. How old are you? 31. Yeah. Do you realize how much harder it will be to get pregnant as you get older?
I do, and I don't care. Because like you said, I would, like, me being pregnant by the wrong man, like, my life is over.
Facts.
And I could die in childbirth. So why would I have a child by somebody who can't or won't be there for me? So if you're cheating on me, you have other women, you're not there for me, I don't I don't feel secure. I don't feel safe. I need somebody to serve me, protect me, provide for me, and be there when I call you. Like.
Yeah, so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So you're a beautiful woman, you're 31,
Yes.
and you've not met one guy that could fit the bill.
Not yet. Not that I fully trust.
How many men have you met over the course of your life, had conversations with?
Oh, a lot.
How many?
I don't know.
10,000?
No, not that many. Hundreds. Maybe.
A conversation, I'm just saying a conversation.
Thousands.
Okay?
Thousands, yeah.
So do you guys see what I'm talking about? Do you guys follow what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But can you also empathize with where she's coming from, that she's just like, y'all ain't shit.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't shit. I mean, you didn't say that. That's what I said, okay? She goes, what'd you say?
I want to feel safe.
Yeah, she says, I don't feel that. Not one guy out of 10,000 made her feel safe. Y'all ain't shit, okay? I'm just kidding. So let's put it this way, okay? So she'll soften it, right? Give me a sec, guys, give me a sec. So she'll soften the blow to be polite and sweet because she's a nice girl by saying like, no, I'm not saying y'all ain't shit. I'm just saying that I didn't meet a single guy out of 10,000 that fit the bill. But it's not that y'all ain't shit, it's just standards, right? Like, you see what I'm saying? In other words, no guy met her standards. But that's what I'm getting at, is that guys don't meet their standards because if you're a girl, you do the same thing. Why would you let some dude have control over your money, risk getting pregnant by it? Like, there's no value there. And they don't need it anymore. That's over, okay? So, if I look at the guys that I know that could very easily find somebody to build a family with, look, I hate to say this to you, and I'm not even saying to do this, but load up the 5 or 10 best club promoters in LA. Those guys could easily find someone to have kids with, easily. And that will be some of the creme de la creme people that they could have kids with. As a joke, they could do it. I'm not saying become a club promoter. I'm just making the point that why is it that a club promoter who's broke, who lives on someone's couch, able to have a family and you can't? That's a pretty important question, because they are optimized for social proof. They're optimized for fun. They're optimized for abundance. They're optimized for having a good ratio. They're optimized for leading a group. They're optimized for swagger. They're optimized for access. They're optimized for always having frame. That's it. So watch. That doesn't mean to become although to be fair, if I was in my 20s, I'd be a club promoter. I mean, I guess I kind of am now in a way by looking at it. So understand, look at what those guys have and why they have it. And then it's really not that hard to meet someone to have kids with. It's really not, but you have to optimize for the correct things. That's really what it comes down to, okay? Club promoters, out of a full 100% pie, probably spend 30% of their time working on swagger, another 30% of the time on access to great places, to lead them in cool places, another 30% of the time on cocaine. So, okay? So, by the way, I hate all drugs. But most younger, attractive people, men and women, are on drugs. I fucking hate them. But it's just reality of what you're dealing with. And everyone says that they're not until you dig and then you find out that they are. So it's this kind of funny thing of how it works, right? So let's just review for a second Christian girls, okay? Let's look at that for a sec. So all this stuff technically wouldn't apply if you met a Christian girl, right? Technically wouldn't apply. But here's the thing you got to keep in mind, okay? So why would a Christian girl technically not need all this? But then I'll show you why it still falls apart. Okay? Why would a Christian girl not need all this?
She has the frame from the Bible.
Okay. Christianity is largely viewed as a patriarchal religion, by the way. It's actually true. It frames women as being part of Adam's rib. What's the first lesson in the Bible in Genesis? That the woman just can't resist the apple that she can't have, and it sends you to hell if you listen. First lesson. So if a girl is Christian, theoretically, she may believe that it's her, her spiritual destiny to be a great woman for her man, right? So as a result, you don't need to have collective frame, and you don't even need to be as strong in your frame because the Christian religion is doing it for you, okay? So if we were back in Christianity, this stuff really wouldn't be that important. Here's the problem. Right now, Christian women are so in demand, and there's so few of them relative to guys that want a Christian woman, that their standards are also crazy high. Because they're like, I'm a Christian woman, like, I'm willing to do this. So what's so funny is like, I'll see guys like, oh, I'm gonna get a Christian girl. I'm like, do you understand that she also has standards too? Like, do you understand that she also doesn't need you? Do you understand that because she's willing to be Christian, that she has unlimited guys that are trying to marry her? Do you get that? Do you understand how outclassed you are? So that's not likely to be a solution. So let's bring it back. What has society gone? What word do we use?
Feral.
Feral. Okay, say it again.
Feral.
Say it again.
Feral.
So here's the basic difference, okay? Back in the day, if you met somebody who you had a lot in common with, you may wind up dating them. If you met somebody who you had good synergy with, you might wind up dating them. Now, it's largely just raw social value. So you'll notice, for example, you have a girlfriend, you over-communicate, she dumps you. You send too long a text, she dumps you. You get a bit jealous, she dumps you. You lose frame, she dumps you. You don't have, a cool little party on Tuesday, potentially dumps you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's where we're at. And the reason why is because the only thing that is holding a relationship together now, because there's no collective frame, there's no Christianity, there's no swearing in front of God, and the biggest thing is Instagram. Instagram is just like, go to Coachella, do this, all that kind of stuff. You're a loser if you have a family. Okay, so that being the case, what is the only thing holding together a relationship? Say this word, organic attraction. So men now, look, I know that this may piss you off, this may make you mad, because you're like, I shouldn't have to, because what would we're looking at pros and cons. What would the argument against having to learn about organic attraction be? What is the argument against it? Come on, guys, what's an argument against it? Why should you not have to learn organic attraction? Why? Guys, you can see why most of you guys don't have girlfriends now.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. But yeah, here's another thing too. The other thing too is this. It's called opportunity cost. Say the word opportunity cost. Every hour that you're spending on organic attraction, you're not spending working, right? The cool thing with the old system is the guys could just work. You didn't have to worry about swagger and Taco Tuesday and frame, all this bullshit, right? because instead you're worried about being a gentleman, getting the door, getting the dinner, being a gentleman, all that stuff, right? Showing that if you got her pregnant that you'd be a good guy. And then you just worked hard. Just working would have been attractive when there's no abortion, when there's no birth control. Just working would have been good. Look, if you're a woman, right? And you knew that if you fuck that guy one time, you get pregnant. And you don't want to rack up bodies because you're going to get STD and you can't get rid of it. What would be the number one most attractive thing that guy could do?
Not be a player.
Not be a player? And another thing starts with W. What is it?
Work.
Say aloud.
Work.
Say aloud.
Work.
Work. You'd be like, work, fucker. He's like, look, I made a new TikTok. You're like, put down the TikTok and work. I'm about to get pregnant, you piece of shit. I let you fuck me. But I pulled out. I don't care. It's going to fail at some point. Get off TikTok, you fuck. Look, I'm having Taco Tuesday. Fuck Taco Tuesday. Work. Okay? So the benefit of the older system was that the guys were incentivized just to fucking work, right? They just could work. That's gone. 65% of new jobs-ish gone to women. 65% of new college to women. 65% of new homes to women. They don't need you, bro. They don't need you to just work. It's more like being the lion now in the dynamic, with the females almost bringing you the money. Okay? So it's not necessarily actually that, but it's closer to that. Okay? It's closer to that. So that being the case, guys, in my view, probably had to spend about 30% of their time becoming more attractive. Now, by the way, who did that used to apply to? Women. Say it louder.
Women.
That used to be women, right? Here's the funny thing, though. As fucked up as it is that you probably are mad now that you probably spend 30% of your time becoming more attractive, would you like it as a man if your woman spent 30% of her time becoming more attractive? Would you be happy if she was doing things to become more attractive? Would that make you happy?
Yes.
Let's be honest. How much time would you like your woman to spend becoming more attractive? Maybe 98%, right? So, right? Well, they have the jobs now. So they're just the same as you, but here's the difference. They're down to share. You're not. So they can all go to the same guy. They're gonna say they're not down to share. I understood your point, but I'm just saying, if we look at your female friends, do some of them have situationships?
I'm weird. I think I'm just weird.
What's that?
I think I'm just weird.
I think the way you are, by the way, is awesome. But the point is,
I agree with
do
you.
most of
Like,
your
most women
do most of your
are-
friends have committed monogamous relationships that are headed towards marriage, or do most of your friends have situationships?
I think they're mostly single.
Yeah, which means celibate.
No.
Yeah, you got it, right?
Unless. Never mind.
Yeah, but you get it, right? Which means they're in a harem.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't call that. They call it single, right? They call it it's like a situationship, right? But it's called a harem, okay? But they're not thinking like that, because if you call them a harem, it's not fun, right? Like, I'm in a harem. But if you just call it for what it is. You're in a harem. So the thing is, like, what I'm getting at here is that because it's actually worse. Like, you would like it if your wife spent a ton of time being more attractive, but you're not willing to share. So that's what she would do just to get you, who's unwilling to share. Because you're gonna pick the best girl that you can get that you don't have to share. Did you follow that? That was a key piece. You're going for the best girl that you can get that you don't have to share. She's going for the best guy that she can get that she's open to share, as long as he's not too public about it, rubbing her face. And sometimes even when they do. So what you would want, they want a lot more, okay? So what I would say is become aware of what organic attraction actually is, okay? And then put some time into that. Now, also realize you have a lot less pressure on you to make money. You actually don't have to make as much money if you don't want to. I personally think it's awesome to make a shitload of money, but I mean, like my buddy who has like, you know, those crazy, that crazy situation where he works at like a restaurant and he has like 30 to 50 girlfriends at a time. You don't have to make money. Now, I want to say this. If you don't like what I said to you, I'm okay if you don't like it, right? I'm not saying to you, this is how society should be. Because I think a lot of guys get it, when I just call it for what it is. Look, if a nuclear bomb went off outside, I'm gonna tell you to wear a hazmat suit. Now you can say back to me, I shouldn't have to wear fucking hazmat suits in the middle of the street. I'm like, bro, I don't like to wear the hazmat suit either. I'm just telling you, the fucking nuke went off out there, man. So wear your hazmat suit, okay? So I'm not saying that you have to like it. I'm just telling you what's going on. That's where you're at. But here's the other thing too. Let me keep going. So that was kind of like some of the cons of this. What are some of the things that were actually bullshit to women that kind of sucked, that if you were a woman, were fucking bullshit, and actually maybe as a guy you could kind of get behind it?
Not being allowed to vote.
Not being allowed to vote was kind of bullshit. What else?
You had to settle for a beta.
Having to settle for a beta male? What else?
Dependent on a partner.
Dependent on a partner? Kind of bullshit, right?
Not being able to work.
Not being able to work, but also being pressured to have sex someone you're not attracted to. And here's another thing too. In reality, it is not that hard for a guy to learn how to be more attractive, okay? And I'm gonna show you what that looks like in great detail, okay? I'm gonna show you in incredible detail what that looks like. And here's the other thing, okay? Whenever I talk about this, a common thing that I get in the comments is guys will say, yeah, but women want the best guy. So because women want the best guy, if every guy up levels, they're still just gonna want the best guy. I don't agree entirely with that statement. Here's why, okay? If you understand what I understand, and you can understand into the mind of a woman, you'll realize that it's not necessarily that they need the quote, best guy. It's typically that if you lack social skills and you lack a bit of swagger and you lack confidence, you look kind of ridiculous. You look kind of autistic. You look kind of retarded. You look kind of off. And it's creepy and it's uncomfortable, okay? So that's a lot of what they are experiencing. And in my personal experience, for example, like if I've got 15 friends that are part of my peer group and a girl comes up to our party, they kind of like everybody, if you follow what I'm saying. Like some of the guys in that group are younger and less status, or less money, or better looking, less good looking. Some have stronger frames, weaker frames, but all of them have kind of crossed a tipping point to where they're not weird, they're cool, they're funny, they have some swag, they have frame. And the girls that I meet just kind of like everybody. Like they're kind of like, look, any one of these guys would be great. Like it's kind of like a cheerleader effect, but of guys, and they're kind of open to any of them. So I don't agree that like, you know, we say, oh, well, women only want the best guy, and then well, if every guy gets better, they'll just want the best guy, right? Like for you guys here, do you always just want the best woman, or like, is there kind of a tipping point where you're like, look, anything kind of above a certain bar, like I'd be at least somewhat open to? I don't think women necessarily always need like the best guy. I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration. Also, hypergamy in most of the mainstream podcasts is always being about money. It's like even Scott Galloway, who I think has a lot of great points, he's like, well, men don't make as much as women anymore, and women need a guy who makes more than them. I'm like, I don't agree with that, because I make way more money. I probably make more money than every single girl that we'll meet out tonight combined. And if my swag is off, they don't talk to me. So what's that mean? It's not money. It's actually not money. My buddy with all those girls, he's broke. So it's not money, right? So hypergamy is not necessarily related with looks or money. That's maybe a component. It's actually related with frame. And that's what guys don't get. It's who has the dominant reality, who's more self-amused, who's more funny, who's more confident, who's more in state. It's more that, okay? So what I would say is learn to optimize for that. And the way that it will go for most of you if you want to have kids is this. Now, some of you guys are older, you can't start this process. But for you guys, I've said this before, in your early 20s, you're going to go out for 2-3 years, you're going to get a significant other. What's going to happen is, for the 2 or 3 years of you going out, you're going to build skills that make you more attractive. Then what's going to happen is you'll get a significant other, and for the first 6 months, she's going to pedestalize you. The next 6 months, she's going to act out and shit test all the time. Last 6 months, you're going to be hell, and she's going to dump you, and she'll probably cheat on you. Then you'll be depressed and want to blow your brains out. Eventually, you'll get over that, which is horrible and hard, but you will get over it, I promise. You'll go back out. You'll go out for another 2 years. Then you'll go back in a relationship. And then 6 months, and you'll go through that cycle. You'll probably go through at least 5 or 6 cycles like that, if not even 10 or 15. By your mid-30s, you will have a direct experience with organic attraction and frame, and then you're going to have an understanding of how to hold a relationship. But that is why for most guys, it's unless they're in a Christian community where that girl's going to really hold to the Christian values, because there's a community-imposed frame. But if it's just an individually imposed frame, not a community-imposed frame, then in most cases, you can't hold that frame alone, like just you, long enough to maintain attraction over several years. You're gonna fuck it up, okay? So you've got to view every single breakup as a brick in your palace. The upside of this is it's gonna teach you skills that you could use to make money. It's gonna teach you social skills. It's gonna teach you all this different crazy stuff. So you're gonna get a lot of value out of it. But that will be a common relationship pattern that you see among men. What will happen at the end of it? You'll probably have a bit of a love-hate relationship with dating. And you'll go from like really excited about it to being very frustrated and jaded. And eventually, you know what you're gonna realize? We're all human. People have their limitations. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You can learn to forgive. Part of the Christian religion is forgiveness. Look at the Sermon on the Mount. And you go, you know what? I love women. Hypergamy is a part of women. We as men allowed society to go into total chaos. That's on me. So this is kind of where it's at. Because unless you personally are doing something about it, this is where you're at. But again, the positive thing is, I think socially, there's a guy, who was the guy who did the veil of ignorance experiment in political science? Look up veil of ignorance. Look that up for me. It's John Rawls, is it? John what?
John Rawls.
How do you spell that?
R-A-W-L-S.
Yeah, John Rawls. There's like Robert Nozick and John Rawls. These are like political scientists. He has this experiment called the veil of ignorance, okay? And the veil of ignorance, what it basically says is, whenever you think about how society should be structured, imagine that you were in a veil of ignorance and you didn't know if you were going to be born a man, a woman, what gender, what sexual orientation, what racial background, like how much money your parents would have, if you're disabled, not disabled. society, according to John Rawls, I think Robert knows it too, is a bit of a different opinion, but he basically says you should try to have society to some extent structured in a way that takes into consideration you don't know how you can be born, right? If you were a woman, do you want to be stuck with a guy you're not attracted to? No. So is it that bad that you have to learn to create organic attraction? Is it that bad?
No.
So a lot of guys hear this information and they're like, we got to go back to the old ways. Here's what I think. I think that we have collectively thrown out the baby with the bathwater, and I think we're under complete chaos. Like I can tell you right now, people from Muslim culture, from the Middle East, are laughing at Americans so hard right now. They're laughing so hard at us right now. I mean, talk about like self-owned, like self-ownish. Like we look so dumb, okay? But I'm not exactly a fan of the burqa. You see what I'm saying? So like somewhere between twerking to Cardi B on every drug and every cock in the world and a burqa is the middle ground. And I'm not exactly sure where that is. I don't want a burqa, and I don't want this shit, okay? So somewhere in there, you know? Yeah, like a burqa twerking. Yeah, okay, so anyway, so look, somewhere in there, because the problem is that I don't think this is helping the women either. I think we're gonna literally have I think we're literally gonna have a generation of women that feel like they were sold a false bill of goods. I would definitely tell you as an investor, man, like, if you can get a stock on like cats or knitting, or like, man, go fuck Bitcoin, man, okay? So just be aware of that. I think it's a false bill of goods. There's another thing I'll tell you too. I have a couple more comments as well. The most incredible women that I feel attracted to have really, really good boundaries and will unload men if the men are toxic. And yet those women who have such attractive energy, and pay attention, also I believe are actually unmarriable. So I believe it's a paradox. Let me tell you why, okay? Let me tell you why. I've done social media a long time. I'm friends with other social media influencers. Some of the women that I'm friends with teach, dating for women, or how to like manage your energy. The intelligence and energy of some of these women, I find incredibly attractive. Like I find myself drawn to them because the difference between those women and other women is that these women, if the men are toxifying them, have enough self-love and enough self-respect to cut the guy off and to continue to nourish themselves. You relate to that a little bit? Okay. The problem is I've dated some of these girls, and in my personal opinion, they're just a little too trigger happy. And so at any sign of like there was one girl I dated, like, I remember she didn't call me for a couple of days and I was kind of sad about it. Straight dumped me. I was like, damn, like that shit is cold. And we'd had such a fun relationship. No fighting, so much fun. Like, and she pulled the trigger like that. Like it was nothing. We had a crazy sex life. It was awesome. That girl has amazing energy. She simply will not tolerate toxicity. Me being a little sad that we didn't talk for a couple of days, I guess I was being toxic. The problem is, guys, I'd gone 3 months being the sweetest guy on earth. And if you want to, like, I'll show you in private later how nice I was. I mean, I'd be embarrassed to say how nice I was to her. So the thing is, like, it didn't matter. It wasn't enough. Why? Because a lot of the time, here's what people don't understand. The reality is, in order to have a significant other, I think a false premise on Instagram is that you should have no toxicity at all. I think there's a normal, manageable amount of small amount of friction that any couple or people are gonna have, okay? Look, I'm a cool dude. You hang out with me for a year, I might wake up on the wrong side of the bed someday, okay? And that shit can just happen. And if people are so trigger happy, they go, I can't disturb my peace and all this shit, they're gonna be single till the day they die. There's a woman that I've dated who probably has the best energy of any woman I've ever been with. She is smoking hot, and she's 6 years older than me. And I've now been with her multiple times, okay? Over about a 15-year period, I've been with her multiple times. And her energy is intoxicating because she's so protective of her energy, but she dumps guy after guy after guy after guy. And every time I go back there when we having sex for a while, she'll be like, I'm gonna be in love with you forever, Owen. Like, we're never gonna break up. And I'm like, of course, baby. Of course we're not gonna break up. And then at some point, inevitably, she will dump me. And she will dump me because the slightest little thing of like badness, she's out of there. This is me as a meditator, as a guy who's done years of trauma healing, as a guy who's always super happy, as like a fun guy, and there'll still be some bullshit. And that is why she will never have kids. She won't have kids. Yep.
Is she perfect?
Well, no, she's not. She's delusional, actually. She has plenty of toxic traits, but she also has a very intoxicating energy. So that's what I'm trying to get at you guys with, is like, it's okay to have a small, manageable amount of friction with somebody if it's small. And it's called growing pains in a relationship. It's called communication. It's called getting back on the same page. So this is another thing, this is another psyop, I think, which is like, oh, it's self-love and you're the best and you have to have standards, which is great if you're someone who's codependent and you've been abused, you've been mistreated. But the problem is like, if you go so far in the other way that no one's ever good enough. No one's ever good enough. What would have happened back in the day? You had your little village, you had 6 people, pick one, that's it. You're stuck. But you would have a family, and you wouldn't go childless, and you would reproduce. So that's another thing I think a lot of people don't understand as well, okay? You've got to find somebody who, look, it's not about finding someone perfect, it's called pick your poison. It's okay that someone has flaws. That's not a bad thing that someone has flaws. Are those flaws acceptable to you? Are they trying their best? Are they trying to get better? Are they not blaming you? And then you can work on it together. It's about communication and growing pains. And things can go awesome if you do that. So be aware of that too, okay? If you can handle that, you can have a family, you can have kids. This could be awesome. Last thing I would say on it is this. I think that where we'll wind up, ultimately, I think kids in school are gonna learn what frame is. I think kids in school will learn about validation. One of the big complaints a lot of women have about men is that women will have many different friendships and many different places that they gather nourishment from, and then men just work and work and work and then just try to get it only from their girl. And as a result of that, the men are very needy. And then men tend to just collapse after a breakup where women have a lot of support. Men need to be taught to be self-validated more. Men need to be taught emotional intelligence. Men need to be taught confidence. Men need to be taught to get in state. Men need to understand what frame is. Men need to understand how to meet new people. Men need to understand how not to be creepy. Men need to understand how to have self-respect. Men need to understand how to build their own ecosystem. Men need to understand how to go say hi to someone and engage with them. And those are all things that have to happen as well, okay? So while I don't think that like massive sex and drug rampage, Cardi B, twerk mode, fuck a club promoter is like our like national destiny, I definitely agree that men need to catch up. I don't have a problem with that. I do not have a problem with the idea that men need to learn some self-respect, need to learn how to have friends, need to learn about organic attraction, okay? So what I'll do is tomorrow, I will come back here and I will do a course on this and I will give you the lay of the land and I'll talk to you in great detail about organic attraction, okay, and what that looks like. And I want to emphasize here, I believe in families, I believe in relationships, but like I said at the start of the video, I don't really think that the average guy who just like, I don't want to learn this bullshit, I just want a wife, it's pathetic and it doesn't work. The only thing that I've seen work is learning about what attraction actually is, okay? And let me say another thing too. I had this one client, he says, he was referred to me by one of my rich clients. And he said, he's like, look, like I don't want to learn all this, like I don't want to be out here. I just want to get married. Like I'm 43, I just want to get married. I said, but bro, you got to come out and learn. So he came out, he actually learned. He actually did really well. But at the end of it, there was kind of something that came up. So the thing that I said that came up, and this is the truth, I said, anytime, I have so many female friends that anytime that I would recommend one of my female friends to a guy, I could get that guy a girlfriend and a wife in about a week. And I really can. I really can, because I have so many female friends. Why would my female friends, though, trust me and be willing to date a guy who I recommended?
Because they value you.
They value me, but what else? Because I tell the truth? Because I'm not a fucking liar? You can't just pay me. You can't be some fucking loser, pay me money, and then I just recommend a client to a girl. I have to be. People can sense a liar. So if I start lying to them, I lose my integrity. I won't come across believable to anybody. Once you start lying all the time, you have an off vibe. There's a ting of authenticity that makes people listen to you. So even after him training, he comes back, he says, you know, man, I just can't handle this. Could you just like recommend one of your female friends to me? I said, you're pathetic, you're a joke, you're disgusting. No, I'm not recommending one of my female friends to you. You're a joke. Look, I don't want to learn all this, man. I just want a wife. I told you, bro. That ship sailed. It's over. Say the word, it's over. It's over. It's over. The era of the mid guy having a dedicated wife is over. That was the patriarchy. It's over. Women collectivized. They took over all the institutions. They took over all the power. They took over social media platforms. That's done. So that ended, okay? They don't need that shit. That guy who wanted that could never hold a relationship. He doesn't have any kind of organic attraction. He has nothing. He's useless to them. So he just wanted an easy way out. What I'm telling you is there's not an easy way out. But here's what I would leave you with. Okay, so there's not an easy way out like back in the day. Is your real ideal to go back to being like the typical 50s factory worker? Is that really what you want for yourself?
No.
What are some things that women would expect from you that would actually be healthy for you to learn? Organic attraction. So what are some of those things that would actually help you to, it would help you to learn it?
Communication.
Communication skills. What was
Leadership.
getting access to cool places? Leadership. What else?
Emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence. What else? Social circle. Social intelligence. What else?
Physical fitness.
Sure, fitness. What else?
Event planning.
Release muscle fun.
Yeah, being more in a state of release than trying to control everything. Learning about that flow that they like and actually embracing that a bit. What else? Charisma. What else?
Independent emotional regulation.
Yeah, independent emotional regulation. So these are all good things, right? So for the women in this audience, would you like it if a guy learned emotional intelligence, social intelligence? Would you like it if he would be self-validated and not like desperately needing you to like babysit him? Would you like that?
Yes.
Okay, would it be fun?
Yes.
Do you want to be put back in the 50s? I'm going to take away your bank account, your job, and your whole life and enslave you?
No way.
No. I'm mad. You guys see what I'm saying here? Like, guys will say this shit until they realize that women are human beings and they just don't want bullshit. Just like you're a human being, you don't want bullshit. So just understand, like, you don't need to be the best of the best of the best. There's just a bar that if you cross, you'll be in a better position. And by the way, once you cross that bar, in the same way that an attractive woman, most guys will sleep with her, when you're an attractive man, a lot of girls would want you. So you'll cross that bar naturally. Wouldn't it be nice also to have a significant other that's actually attracted to you? Okay, now let me ask you another thing. When you learn a lot about frame, what's also gonna wind up happening is you're gonna learn how to have frame in your work, in your job, and on social media. Here's another point I'd like to make too. The main easy play for money right now is social media. That's where the easiest money is. It's actually the easiest money. Anybody that I've ever seen who just learned these basic social skills crushes on social media. You guys see the video I did with my buddy Nate from Miami, the last video? Yeah. Well, now it's Nate. Yeah. He came in a video that I did this week. Nate has great social skills. I put him on stage and he was a crack public speaker. It was like immediate, he could public speak. Why? Because he's been going out. He just went out for like 3 weeks, and just from going out only for 3 weeks, he had crack communication skills. So that's what I'm getting at, is like, you're probably gonna make money off it. You'll probably be happier. There's a lot of things a lot of wisdom that women have that they can impart to you and they can motivate you to go get. And when you get it, you're actually receiving their gifts. Also, when a woman dumps you because you've lost frame, you can view that as a punishment or view that as a gift. You can take it as a gift because you're gonna become better. So she didn't enable you, okay? Now that might've just been her hypergamy unloading you, but nonetheless, it is a spiritual gift, okay? In fact, every single time that I've been through a breakup and been sad, it is just incredible how much stronger I've been able to bounce back, and it really is a gift. So I've tried to sort of audit where we're at, and I've given some broader meta level brushstrokes here. I'm probably not going to do a lot more talks on this. You never know. Maybe I'll change my mind and go, this is like all I want to do, and I'm just so passionate. I don't know. But I wanted to kind of get... okay, here's what's kind of crazy. To really get a message out, you can't just do one video. You'd have to do a whole channel about that message for 10 years to get a message out, right? So me doing a series, I think I've done like 4 or 5 videos on this topic. Me doing a series of like 4 or 5 videos that I'll probably wind up deleting at some point. That's not gonna save the world or anything. But I wanted to make this video series not so much for, to save the world, because I can't. Like I have other goals and aspirations than like the male loneliness epidemic. But there is a possible coming population crash, and I want to at least do my part, and I felt an obligation ethically to do it. And the other thing is this, I at least want my audience to hear my take on this. So you guys are my audience, people at home, you're my audience. So I wanted you guys to have my take. Tomorrow, I will put a focus on more instructional stuff. So I've given kind of a larger meta-analysis, and tomorrow I will make it more instructional. I've tried to take you through some of the pain of this, but what I kind of want to leave you with is that when I look at most of you guys, I just see a group of guys that are mostly optimized for the wrong stuff. You're trying to optimize for things that are not going to work for most of you guys in here. Like, I can feel it off you. You're just, if we were to do an audit of like where all your time and energy is going, most of your time and energy is just going into the wrong stuff. You're not optimizing for what, like you're going down a tunnel that's just the wrong tunnel. You're just simply not aware of where this tunnel is leading you, and it's not leading you to a place that you want, okay? But if you can have the right tunnel, then all that time and energy that you're using can be in the right direction, and I think your life will get a lot better, okay? So I'm gonna do another couple exercises, but I wanna thank you guys for listening. I hope that you guys enjoyed the talk, and that is my summary. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks, guys.